quiet but stable, the constant shore of unwavering love to the tumultuous sea of my own self-hatred. "You're upset because of what Ethan said," he begins, eyes downcast. His voice is matter-of-fact, like he's working through it aloud, trying to understand. "Maybe embarrassed, too, even if you shouldn't be. But him talking about you as a kid, it hurt you, and you won't tell me why." I flinch. His voice has no emotion. His face is steel as he speaks. "You're upset because of me knowing about your past. Maybe because of your mom, or what Ethan said about her reputation. About the trailer park you lived in." "Stop it!" I manage to find my voice, backing away as he starts to advance toward me. "Bennett." "Someone hurt you in that house. Maybe more than one person. And just talking about that triggered you. You want sex because it'll distract you, make you feel better." Bennett watches my face intensely, and I see the slow realization overtake him. His eyes flare. "No. Fuck. Paloma." His voice breaks over my name. You want sex because it makes you feel worse?" Bennett's knees give out and he falls onto the edge of the bed. His breath shudders faster, eyes shining like he might cry. "All this time, you thought that you deserve that? To feel bad?" I slam my hands over my ears, tears flowing. "Stop!" I want to scream, but I sound like a whimpering child. No. I grip hands into my hair and pull slightly. "Please, Shh." Bennett tries to soothe me, reaching out to hold me up, and I realize I've stumbled toward him. His arms wrap around me, hands gently finding mine and pulling them from my scalp. He tucks them into his, our fingers interlocking. "Please, love, just breathe." I do. He pulls me slowly, like coaxing a dog who's been beaten and chained, into his lap, desperate to save it, as Bennett's always been desperate to save me. I press myself into his chest, ear to his heart, and breathe. He's crying, I realize, sobs racking his body. It makes my hands go numb. "Bennett?" I ask, pulling back, but he only holds on tighter. "Paloma." He breathes into my hair, hands pressing like he's memorizing my body inch by inch. "God, I didn't know. I thought..." He stalls, but I hear him anyway. He thought when we were apart I used sex as an outlet, a distraction. But I wielded it like a razor, crawling deeper into that dark pit every time. And Bennett stood there and watched it happen, thinking he wasn't enough, thinking I wanted a release, just trying to feel good, and was looking for something he couldn't give, something I wouldn't take from him. I know he blames himself entirely, as if he stood back and forced me to go upstairs and into dark hallways and further down the rabbit hole of my self-hatred. "I'm sorry," I whisper into his skin, pressing so I can feel his neck against my lips. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I just want you. Just you. Just this. I'm sorry." There were broken pieces of us scattered on the floor, raw, vulnerable. And for a second, the thought of running and hiding feels like a comfort. I want to, but then he kisses me. And it makes everything right, even just for a moment. We stay there for a long time before Bennett stands and carries me to the bathroom. He turns on the bathtub and pulls open the drawer of all my favorite soaps and hair products he keeps around. It feels silly to be so comforted by the idea of a bubble bath at the hands of Bennett Reiner. But as soon as the overly warm water conceals my naked body, there's a loosening in my chest. Bennett stands for a moment, easily taking up too much space in the small room, still in his suit pants and button-down, sleeves rolled up, hands tucked deep into his pockets.
I should.
He trails off, eyes downcast. My hand reaches out, wet against the dark fabric of his pants. Stay. Bennett nods, eyes finding mine as he kneels by the lip of the tub, his palm touching my cheek. I nuzzle into it with a soft, contented sigh. And then it's nothing but the sound of water moving as I shift beneath the sudsy curtain. I was an only child, I suddenly confess. My eyes shoot down, watching my own fingers play and swirl. I don't really talk about my mom, and I don't want to. She didn't care about me, never protected me. My childhood wasn't. It was bad, Bennett. Bad is an understatement, but telling him this is hard enough. My mom was in trouble a lot. Drugs, violent boyfriends, anything you can think of. And sometimes the cops that came were friends of my mother. Sometimes they were worse than the assholes she brought home. And I shake my head, words trailing away, but the pain-soaked intensity of them hangs behind. Bennett's hand reaches out, grasping mine with a gentle, reassuring squeeze.
Don't. Not if it hurts.
He seems to wince at his own words, shaking his head like he knows. It all hurts. There was someone, though, who was kind to me when we met. I want to tell him. I want to let the name spill from my lips, but I can't. He was older than me. He knew I'd been sleeping in a house with no power in the dead of winter, or sneaking into the school to sleep.
You slept at the school?
All the time. I laugh, no humor in it. It was warm, and no one tried to get in my room. I stopped there, swallowing hard. By the time I met Ethan, I didn't trust anyone. Man, woman, child. It was me versus everyone else.
God damn it.
Bennett mutters, eyes darting down before wiping at his eyes.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why that...
I stay silent.
I just... Picturing you alone and scared and sleeping in a fucking school.
His voice is still whisper quiet, soft and gentle despite the harsher language. It's okay. It wasn't that bad. He shakes his head, eyes darting to me like he wants to tear those words from my mouth and lay his anger into them. I wait, and Bennett calms, stays quiet while I tell the rest. But the tears slowly tracking from his ocean blue eyes never quite stop. The words pour from me like water, and he absorbs them all, the unshakable, constant shore bowing to my fraught waves. I explain Ethan's treatment, how his demeanor ran so hot and cold, how he was the first adult to take care of me, how I trusted him, the way he showed me affection when I'd never had any before. I might as well have been touch-starved, desperate for anything. And he knew that, used it against me. I'd never had anyone pay attention to me like that, I say, voice bitter and resentful. No amount of time changes the way I feel about myself at 15, 16, and so on. Desperate and so stupid. I was grateful that he seemed to care for me. I thought I should be glad. But then he changed, and I didn't realize he'd never looked at me like a daughter. The words dredge up the usual nausea, tenfold at having to confess this to Bennett. My throat closes, and I wipe away a few silent tears. I didn't want it, any of it. But I wanted someone to. God, this hurts most of all. I just wanted someone to care about me. even if I didn't want to be with him. And I didn't. A sob stabs at my throat, voice sticky. Please, believe me. Bennett's arms loop around me, tugging me into his warmth so I can sob into his soft chest and release everything I've held back from him since I met him.
I do.
He whispers.
I do. I believe you. God, Paloma.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I breathe, shame casting my eyes down.
Don't.
He nearly cuts me off. Water sloshes over the lip of the tub as Bennett picks me up and steps to sit in the bath, still fully clothed. He settles me onto his lap, facing him.
Please, P. I believe you. I believe you.
He whispers the words like his own form of poetry, soothing and protective in equal measure.
You're okay. You're safe now. I'm so sorry, P. I won't let anything happen to you again.
We sit like that for a long time. I try to focus on anything but the torrent of emotions still plaguing me, the left-out detail of my story that's begging to be told. Instead, I take in the movement of the water, his big body taking up too much space, the soft, damp fabric of his shirt against my chest where he's got me crowded into his body. My fingers fiddle with the button of his shirt.
Can I wash your hair?
The question is as soft as his fingers as he tips me back by the neck until my hair swirls in the water. He keeps hold of my neck in one hand, using the other to grab for the shampoo. I turn in his arms, still naked and vulnerable. He spreads his legs to pull me closer between them, my back to his chest now. Bennett presses a soft kiss to my temple before sudsing his hands and massaging my scalp, careful and slow so he doesn't get anything in my eyes. He does the same slow movements with the conditioner. It's our routine, at least a version of it, and I can feel that it soothes him arguably more than me. Maybe this is the moment. A fresh start. A clean slate. All my darkened secrets finally in the light. Not all of them.
Take your time.
Bennett whispers after he's wrapped me in a towel and shucked off his wet clothes, grabbing his own towel off the bar on the wall.
Take as long as you need.
Calm settles over me like a weighted blanket, like Bennett's massive body might. I wring out my hair, using all the luxury products that I haven't allowed myself in years, taking the time to plait my wet hair into pigtail braids before slipping on his massive Berkshire shirt and foregoing the rest of the clothes he left out for me. I still feel raw as I emerge from the steamy room, but my throat catches as I see the pretty lights he's plugged in along with the usual lamp. Bennett turns from his computer. Ben Howard plays softly through the speakers as he steps toward me. He's changed, too. Soft pajama pants and no shirt, like he usually sleeps. I stand there blankly, unsure what to do now, unsure of where I belong. My fingers play at the stiff, wet end of one of my braids as I chew on my lip. I'm not tired, I blurt. I couldn't sleep if I tried. Bennett smiles, small and quick, but I hold it close to my heart, warming myself from the inside out.
I know, love. I want to show you something.
He walks over to his dresser, just past the golden lamp on his bedside table. Tucked against the wall is a tall, full-length mirror, tall enough to capture the hulking form of the 6'6" goalie. And me. I look down at the ground quickly, but Bennett sweeps up a hand to my chin.
Look,
he whispers.
Tell me what you see.
I see Something bad. Someone who hurt you, I whisper, ashamed of the words but needing him to know, to understand that I hate myself for it all.
Stop it,
he whispers, his hand dipping to nuzzle the crook of my neck. I go nearly boneless as he scoops an arm around my middle.
Look.
Bennett. My eyes cast down just slightly, avoiding the glass.
Just look, P. This is the girl I've loved for 4 years of my life, steadfastly adored, my soulmate.
He tilts my head again to look in the mirror.
You, exactly like this.
I look. His body encases mine, and it's hard not to focus on just him, on the rugged lines of his face that mix so well with the aristocratic nose he broke when he was 12, of the clean cut of his stubble, the soft waves of his chestnut hair that look like warm coffee or the freshness of fall in the city, the long, thick muscles of his arms, the grip of his hand on my hip, on the generous curve of my hip. I follow my own body down to my ankles, seeing the tightness of my legs that allow me to swim every day, to run away when I've needed to. I see the way Bennett's shirt falls over me like I could live in it forever, like it was made for my body, mine. I see my face, bare and clean, looking youthful and content, beautiful. My skin, pink from the hot bath that the boy I love made for me, warm from the way the boy I love holds me.
You're so beautiful,
he whispers, kissing my neck.
So strong. You aren't that little girl trapped in that house anymore. You're so smart, clever, kind, and wonderful.
I'm not. I'm mean.
Your meanness has kept you safe. I don't care if you've used it against me because it's kept you safe.
He emphasizes it again, hands crawling up my body to grip the small of my waist. I've been so horrible to you, I whisper.
I would crawl through broken glass to get to you, P.
His voice is breathy and soft, but the words build pillars in my mind, making something new in the rubble of destruction. I turn in his arms. I would for you too, I say, feeling ridiculous at the repeated sentiment, but I don't know how else to say it. He presses a hard, fierce kiss to my lips.
I know,
he says, before kissing me again, gentle and slow, as he backs up to his bed, scooping me into his arms and settling me on his lap as he sits. His hands smooth against my skin, leaving chilled bumps in their wake as he pulls my shirt up and over my head. Music plays. His eyes sparkle like living waters, and I feel the last piece of my armor break. I push my hands against his shoulders, letting him settle into the mattress slowly as I rock against him and kiss him again. He rolls me beneath him, my thighs stretched impossibly wide around the bulk of his body. The way Bennett looks at me feels the exact same as the first time, on soft blue sheets with waves crashing outside and soft moonlight along more boyish features, when this pull between us was unmarred and pure, something soft. Maybe for him, nothing ever changed. His pants come off, and I can feel him against me, skin to skin. We kiss, touch, push into each other for a long moment before I press against his shoulder and roll until I'm on top of him again. I lift up, looking at him for approval as I reach back and hold him in my grip. He's so fucking big it should be frightening, but I've never wanted anything more. Because it's him. Him. like a silent chant. "Are you sure?" I ask. He nods, but his lips press to my cheek, his hand caressing lightly against my skin.
"Please don't break my heart again,"
he begs, then follows it with a watery smile and half chuckle.
"I don't think I can take any more."
"Never," I vow. "I love you," I breathe as my hips slip down and I take him slowly into my body. He jolts, hips arching, and I moan a curse at the sheer size of him.
"Say it again,"
he begs.
"Please."
I push up on his chest when he's still only halfway inside me. "I love you." I breathe in and sink the rest of the way down, huffing and moaning as he takes up every inch of space and then some. And we stay there, hips flush, completely connected. His eyes shine with tears. His cheeks are wet. He reaches up to touch my cheek, and I realize I'm crying, too. For the first time, happy tears.
"You're so beautiful,"
he mutters again, eyes in awe of me, even as his gaze doesn't dip to my body. He's only looking at me. Me. I love you.
"You're so perfect."
"Just you."
"Just you,"
he whispers back, picking up the pace.
"Just you and me forever, love."
Falling in love with Bennett was like jumping into the ocean, expecting the water to be icy and painfully cold, only to be completely encompassed in comforting warmth, a warmth that has never faltered. "I love you," I say again because I can't help it. He slows again, savoring the feeling of us this close, before he presses his lips to my neck, just below my ear, and whispers poems into my skin as he makes me come again and again, until we're both wrung out. Love from Bennett Reiner will always be this, perfect and warm. It's homemade versions of my favorite food, warm blankets, firm hands on sore muscles, and gentle fingers in my hair. It's slow indie music that's just soft enough to be a lullaby, but with lyrics so beautiful my ears ache to listen. It's poems ripped from his favorite books lying on my pillow, with the words he struggles to say splayed on softly crinkled paper. "You're the only person who has ever had me," I breathe, tears still spilling quietly over my cheeks. "All of me." My words make him moan into the curve of my neck.
"I'll take care of you forever, P,"
he says, angling his neck to press our foreheads together in the quiet dark.
"You just have to let me, love."
I released a hiccuped cry, overwhelmed by how I feel about him, distraught over the cycle I've felt perpetually stuck in that wouldn't allow me to have him until I could defeat this evil thing I've let live in my head since I was 14. Bennett tucks me against his chest and pats my hair, soothing me, whispering soft poetry that I'm almost sure is his, until I'm calm again, until I fall asleep with him still inside me.
Chapter 66. Now. Bennett. I can't sleep. I've propped myself up against the headboard, eyes focused on the rise and fall of Paloma's chest, as if her breathing controls my own breath. It feels as if I've been split in two, the before and after, flashes of moments from the past 3 years, comments she's made, little glimpses she unwittingly offered into her past race across my mind. I've always found the softness in Paloma, the pieces of her she's hidden from everyone else, the pieces of her that have been just mine. Now it's like trying to put her back together in my mind. She is a shattered glass sculpture, and I have all the grace of a child with a glue stick and construction paper. Nothing feels like it will fit. Nothing makes the pain lessen. And the anger, it's almost overwhelming. And she didn't offer a name, not that I'd be able to find this faceless villain anyway. And if I did, what could I even do? Nothing, just like you've done before, with her, with Reese, with... I shake my head. Maybe it would be easier to have something physical I could lay this rage and anger into on her behalf. I was 10 when someone kissed me for the first time. He was one of my mom's friends. Her voice is a never-ending echo of torture in my head, but I welcome it like a penance to be paid. I've always known someone hurt Paloma, maybe more than just someone, but to hear her force herself to relive those memories so I could understand what I didn't really know, the pain of the last 3 years feels worse. Worse because no matter what, I can't fix it. I can't make it better. For the first time since the gala, I check my phone. Texts and missed calls spill across the screen. Reese, Freddie, Anna, my dad, all in multiples, times overlapping. Seeing it all at once threatens to send my anxiety spiraling further. Focus. Most important item first. It doesn't help, because my only thought is still the girl curled into my chest, using my pec and upper abdomen like a pillow. Instead of replying or trying with any of them, I open my thread with Reese and Freddie and type out a quick message. Bennett. Family breakfast in an hour. She needs routine. Be normal and don't ask. Their responses are nearly instantaneous. Reese. Got it. Whatever you both need, just tell us. Freddie. Yes, chef. Salute emoji, salute emoji, salute emoji. I slowly roll Paloma to her side before snapping my fingers for Seven to take my place on the bed. Still, my girl stirs and blinks bleary eyes up at me. Bennett? Shh, love, I whisper, kneeling by her and tucking some of her hair back. I'm gonna go start on breakfast. Sleep as much as you can. I'm leaving Seven here with you. Okay, she mumbles, turning on her back and letting Seven crawl and settle half on her stomach. I close the door to the bathroom quietly, following my routine more stringently than I usually might with her in the next room. It takes almost too long, which makes my stomach churn about breakfast not being ready before everyone is downstairs to eat. By the time I've finished the pancake batter and omelets, Ro, Reese, and Freddie have joined me, talking and laughing as the sound of family permeates the room. This is what she needs. This will show her that she's cared for. Good morning, Rainey, Freddie greets brightly, seated shirtless at the table next to a fully put-together Ro. Food smells amazing. I nod. Don't eat anything. I'm serious. Not until I get Paloma from upstairs. Stepping past where Reese is making 2 lattes and taking his time with the artwork, I head up the stairs, only to see she's already on her way to me, dressed from head to toe in my clothes. Hungry, P? I ask, taking her face in my palms. She nods, biting down on her lip. I want to ask her 1,000 questions, but she still looks exhausted from last night. It doesn't help that my own emotions feel a little shot, all over the place all at once. Yeah, I think I could eat. Good. I press a kiss to her temple and bring her closer under my arm. We're having family breakfast. There's a brighter look then in her eyes, a twinkling of excitement and hesitant wonder. Really? I think I'm only just now understanding the depth of Paloma's loneliness, that it's more than how she's been at Waterfell, strangely isolated despite her popularity and well-known name. Her kind of loneliness goes further back. It makes a well of regret start to form, and how much I wished she'd been here at our table for breakfasts all along, even as a friend, somehow included. Wrong. I've gotten it wrong too many times. I'm determined now to never let her suffer again. Once she's settled at the table, Freddie and Sadie already bickering to provide the entertainment, the doorbell rings. I hold a hand up to Reese and offer to get it, nearly sure that Adam Reiner is about to make an unexpected appearance, if his frantic texts are anything to go off.
"It's weird. If she wanted me here, she would have asked."
The voices are muffled, but I can hear the girl clearly because she's slightly loud. I look through the peephole to see Torin and Lily side by side, arms crossed as they stare at each other.
"She wants you here,"
Torin says back quietly, his voice soft and unconcerned in sharp contrast to the almost frantic, too loud tone of his companion.
"You don't know that. You don't have friends, Tor. You don't know."
I pull open the door, greeted by the ridiculous picture the two of them make. My defenseman towering in his black slacks and black button-up from the night before, sleeves rolled up, tattoos on display covering almost every inch of exposed skin. And next to him, a redhead barely half his size in brown boots, stockings, a pleated skirt, and turtleneck sweater. "Torin," I nod to him. "Lily."
"Hi, Bennett,"
she whispers, suddenly shy as she ducks her head to stare down at my shoes. "Lily wanted to check on Paloma after she didn't come home last night," Torin offers, a hand slipping to her back and pushing her a stumbling step forward. "I figured I could drop her here and I can pick her up later, or Paloma can take her back." I nod, stepping to the side to let her in. "Paloma is in the kitchen and would love to see you." You might be the only friend she's ever really had, the only one she's made on her own. Lily scurries off toward the kitchen, arguably too fast. Torin watches her go with a softer look on his face than I've ever seen, something almost serene. "You should stay," I say, clearing my throat and gripping the doorframe. "Have breakfast with all of us." "No," he smirks, but there's nothing happy in it. "You don't have to be nice to me, Reiner. It's fine." My brow furrows. "Come inside, eat with us. You're a part of the team." A huff of a laugh blows from his lips, and he shakes his head. "Right." "You are," I say, more intense than the first time. My voice drops as I add, "And you look out for Paloma. You always have. I owe you for that, at the very least." He doesn't say anything, eyes down toward the dewy morning grass and damp concrete. He looks young and almost lost. Is this how I looked all those years ago? Is this what I'd be without Reese? Lonely and lost and rejected by everyone who doesn't understand me? Lily is a lot like me, I think, and Torin sticks close to her, takes care of her. There is a part of me that believes Torin is like Paloma, a bleeding heart and full up with love he doesn't know what to do with. I know you hit Sadie's coach that night, defending her, and I was there when you protected Ro from her ex-boyfriend, and I think you've done more for Paloma than you'll even share with me. I take in a slow breath, voice dropping. I don't mention the locker room, but it's all I can see when I look at him now. I know what people said about him, the rumors that spread. I know what his old teammates have taunted him with on the ice and off it, but I also know what I've seen of him, how he's defended and protected these girls without even knowing them. You're not a bad guy, Kane. He doesn't look at me, eyes firm on the ground, guards still up. So, I think you should come inside and eat with us. Slowly, with a slight tremble in his hands, Torin nods and steps over the threshold to follow me inside. "So, Torin?" Reese asks, helping me clean up the kitchen after everyone's gone. Sadie to practice, Lily and Paloma back to their apartment, accompanied by Kane, and Freddie and Ro to inevitably roll in the sheets upstairs. "Yeah," I nod, rubbing the pan with the buffer scrub, careful as I set it to soak in the warm water. I should have asked you about it, how you feel about him now. Reese shrugs. I don't like him, but he did punch that asshole Kelly, not even knowing Sadie. Maybe he's got more in him than I thought. I nod again, shrugging my shoulders, though it does nothing to diffuse the tension in my muscles there. Doesn't make it easier to be around him, he mumbles, and my body freezes, eyes shutting at the stabbing pain that reignites. I turn toward him almost too quickly, like running my eyes over him will erase the image of his body lying on the ice, the sound of his cry. I can't see. Where's my dad? I can't see anything. My stomach churns again, but I shake my head and grip the back of my neck. I'm sorry, I say. I should have asked. He just seemed like he was struggling. No kidding, Reese mutters. He was a wreck last night at the gala, too, after you left. I should ask, but I can't think of anything besides, are you okay? The question seems to shake my best friend, his eyebrows furrowing as he looks at me. He's leaning against the stovetop, wearing a well-worn Berkshire sweatshirt I also own, and a pair of flannel pajama bottoms, hair a mess. Me? He asks, but nods. I'm fine, Ben. My nostrils flare, and I close my eyes tight. I can't tell sometimes, and it's a fucking mind game trying to read you. Between you and Paloma, I feel like I can't breathe. It isn't fair to put this on his shoulders. I'd argue it's counterproductive, but I can't help it. I still feel raw from last night, every emotion overwhelming. Bennett, what? You didn't tell me anything last semester. You shut me out, and I keep trying to move on and be okay with it, but it's like stepping on a minefield. I don't know if you're actually okay or if you're just saying that, and I don't want to feel like I'm measuring every breath you take to make sure you aren't hurting and just won't tell me about it. Reese stands, arms crossed as he listens. And I'm sorry I didn't say anything about Paloma when it all happened, but you have always been the best in my eyes, the best hockey player, the best friend, the best guy I know. I'm so thankful for you. But I wanted Paloma to be mine from the first time I saw her, and so I kept her to myself. A bitter laugh works from my throat. And you found each other anyway, and it doesn't matter that it was for barely a few dates or nights or whatever, it still hurts. And it's my fault. If I'd told either of you about each other, it never would have happened. But it did. What is so wrong with me that no one wants to tell me what's happening? Do I seem so fucked up in the head that no one wants my help? Paloma spent 3 years shutting me out to punish herself, hurt herself over and over, and I didn't see it. And you did the same thing, and I'm terrified every single day that you'll do it again. And because I can't read your goddamn expression, I won't know. In the silence of my loud confession, there is a strange relief. Bennett, he breathes, brown eyes watery as he looks at me. I'm so sorry. You are my best friend. It had nothing to do with you. I didn't tell my mom or my dad or anyone. I would have never told Sadie if she hadn't found me mid-panic attack on the ice. He steps closer, hands outstretched. It had nothing to do with you, okay? Another step, and then he grabs me in a tight hug. My dad, Anna Koteski, Reese, and Paloma are the only ones I enjoy being touched by. I've missed this. I've missed my best friend. It feels like I haven't really been close to him since that hit. But maybe the fractures started earlier, that night sitting across from him and the girl I wanted more than my next breath. Just don't do it again, I say, half into his embrace. He laughs, shaking his head. Never. We break apart, and he squeezes my shoulder. Now, tell me the whole story, Ben. I want to know how you met Paloma. Tell me everything I missed. Chapter 67. Now, Bennett. We win our regional semifinal, a hard-fought win, but I play nearly perfectly, only letting in one goal through the 3 periods. Thankfully, Reese carries the team well, though the winning goal was scored by Torin, who was quiet and almost somber in his acceptance of the award from Coach Harris. Paloma worked the game on the bench, eyes twinkling as Harris kept her close and spoke with her often, including her entirely in the real coaching experience. She was glowing by the end of the game, cheeks pink. Now she's standing in the line of coaches as Harris finishes his speech, hands tucked into the pockets of her oversized navy blazer, hair slicked back tightly into an elegant ponytail I'm desperate to tug on. Reese takes over as soon as our coach is done, announcing the final bash at the hockey dorms this weekend, but being very clear on the usual rules. Party as hard as you want, but then zero tolerance policy into the Frozen Four stretch. Cheers erupt, and Paloma breaks away from the line, stepping carefully toward my spot on the bench where I've removed most of my pads and am wiping off my neck, only dressed in my compression pants. "Hey," she says, hesitant, picking at the sleeve of her jacket. My smile is soft, eyes glimmering as I mumble, "Come here, P." She steps forward into my embrace, letting me kiss her mouth in front of them all. We aren't usually the public display of affection couple, but I feel possessive of her. Always, but especially here in this locker room. I know how many of my teammates feel about Paloma, know the way some of them have fantasized vocally about her, have tried their hand at having her, so I want them to know she's taken. Forever, if I can keep hold of her like this, and God, am I going to try. There's a few hoots and cheers, Reese smirking next to me as he smacks my shoulder. Freddie catcalls us, shaking out his wet hair. Paloma pulls back from me and rolls her eyes, but her cheeks are pink and her eyes are full up with love. For me. "You and Reiner now?" Holden smirks, shaking his head. Come on, Paloma, just give me a chance. When is it my turn?" "Knock it off," Reese says, still lighthearted, but clearly a warning. "You're only saying that 'cause you already got a chance with her, Cap." Holden laughs, seemingly not noticing the shift at his words. "Paloma, baby, let me try. I bet I can—" Paloma leaps for him suddenly, like she might hit him. Before I can move, Torin's arms wrap around her waist and yank her off Holden and back against him. Calm the fuck down, Blake," he whispers to her. Holden wrinkles his brow, sobering quickly. What the hell?" "Shut the fuck up," Torin snaps, eyes darting toward his partner. "For one goddamn minute, Holden, shut up." I'm crossing to them, half dressed and sweaty, but it only takes a second for Paloma to realize I'm there. Torin lets her go, eyes staying on Holden, even as he looks thoroughly apologetic. "You okay, P?" I ask, voice a whisper as I move my hands to bracket her face and turn it toward me. She nods, but huffs a breath. Angry tears build in her eyes as she hides her face in my chest. Paloma sinks into my embrace easily, and I pet her hair, kissing her temple. I don't say anything, but the way we move together seems to be enough. "Why don't you go get your stuff and meet me right outside?" She agrees, her heels clicking loudly in the silence of the locker room. My eyes scan over the entire room, where everyone is focused on me. I might not be the shimmering captain of gold or the terrifying defenseman who snaps at the drop of a hat, but I've made my place here. I have my own stoic, intense reputation. My words aren't a yell, but they don't have to be. Talk about her again like that, see what fucking happens. My voice is solid and plain. No growl, no fury, just a threatening calm. Most of them nod, Holden still watching me with a clear, remorseful look on his face, and I know that he didn't mean to hurt either of us, but I've spent 3 years watching him shamelessly flirt with her. I just need a minute. See you all tomorrow, I say, tossing on my track pants and sweatshirt. For the first time, I leave without cleaning my pads or doing a single one of my post-game routines. Please. She's panting, eyes glazed and looking at me adoringly. It's a shot to my heart, as it always is with Paloma. But here, with her stretched out like an offering over my bed, arms tied together and held above her head, making her beautiful tits push forward even more, my gaze on her is almost worshipful. "Bennett!" she cries, body jerking as those same wide brown eyes shut tight. My hand slides across her cheek to her mouth, covering it briefly with my finger to quiet her. I'm not surprised by the way her body curves and arches into even my smallest touch. I've been playing with her for 10 minutes already, and she'd been dripping since I tied her hands. She was fucking made for me. "Can you be quieter for me, love?" She nods over and over. "Good girl," I say, dragging the word along her skin as I run my finger over her chin, down her neck, into the valley between her breasts. "You're holding it in for me, aren't you? Waiting for me to tell you to come?" "Yes," she breathes. "Please." "Shh," I coo. "Tonight is going to be different. I'm going to make you come with my fingers, my mouth, my cock." She moans so loud I cover her mouth again. "And you can come as much as you want, without asking for permission, okay?" Her nod is like a bobblehead, hair spilling from the tight ponytail it was in before. Unable to resist, I reach up and tug the elastic carefully, running my hands through the blonde strands until they lay like water across my sheets. "Do you know why?" She doesn't say anything, grinding into the air, so keyed up, so free beneath my hands, trusting me so thoroughly, it's intoxicating. "Paloma, answer me, love. Do you know why I'm going to let you come as much as you want?" She shakes her head, eyes tracking back to me. "Because you deserve this. Because you are so good and strong and perfect. I want to make you feel good, to show you exactly how good you always are for me." The words are softer than anything else I've said, and her body stills, eyes welling slightly with tears, mouth tipping into a soft smile. I'll pour praise over her again and again for as long as I live, or as long as she lets me, because this is how it makes her feel. And when she's so vulnerable beneath my hands, tied up and splayed in her purest form, I want her to know that I will care for her, love her, worship her. Are you going to let me take care of you the way I want to? Yes, she says. It's almost a plea. Bennett. Pulling her closer, I kneel on the floor between her spread thighs, tossing each one over the bulk of my shoulders, hand down my sweatpants as I lick at the seam of her pussy, pulling moans from Paloma's mouth. I take my time with her, pressing my words into her skin, using my fingers to keep her suspended in pleasure while I praise her. I'm finally able to say everything I want to her, no fear of scaring her away or waking up without her beside me. She's mine. You're so beautiful, so smart. I've dreamt about these thighs, entangled with mine. When I fantasize about you, you're soft and warm in my embrace, letting me take care of you, just like this. Oh, come again for me, P. I know you can. I give her my fingers, my tongue, even my thighs so she can grind into it, making her come over and over again. Her face is flushed, eyes bright and waterlogged, shimmering with release and need and the after effects of my praise I've come to expect. But still, I don't stop. I won't until she understands how desperately I love her. It's heady, my own pulse thrumming as I fit another finger into her, watching her body arch and pushing down on her abdomen lightly as I curl my fingers inside. She goes off again, clenching around me as I lean over her body and coo, talking her through it the way I know she loves. "You are everything to me, Paloma," I whisper. "You breathe, I breathe. All I want is to make you feel good, here and everywhere, to keep you here, safe, if you want. I'll give you anything you want." "I love you," she sobs out, body arching again, and this time I come too, untouched in my fucking pants. Sitting back for a second, I huff out a few breaths. Paloma stares at me with tears in her eyes before her mouth cracks open to whisper, "Can you untie me, please?" Scooting up by her head, I carefully unfasten her hands, massaging her wrists as I check them over carefully. But the second I let one go, she leaps toward me, arms encircling my neck, her naked body attaching tightly to my clothed one. Holding on to me, whispering still, over and over, "Thank you, thank you." Something in my chest burns, the pieces of my once shattered heart remade by her love and care of me now.
Chapter 68. Now. Paloma. "Are you sure you want to wear that?" I ask, cringing at the question. "Are you going to be comfortable?" Lily nods, but her eyes scrunch a little in the mirror where she tries to pull up the slightly gaping cups of the corset top she's borrowed. I'm letting her have her moment, but she's not leaving in this ridiculous top. Partially because it covers none of her, but mostly because it's the most not Lily thing I've ever seen her attempt to wear. She looks uncomfortable, messing with it continuously, chewing on her lip with a frustrated divot between her auburn brows. She's trying, for some reason, to be someone else. And I don't want that for her. She's perfect as she is. And maybe no one has told her that. Except for a large, usually hovering defenseman. Biting my lip, I turn back toward her closet to rummage through her messy stacks of clothes, most of which aren't even hung on the slightly empty rack. "What about this?" I ask, pulling out a spaghetti-strap black dress with a thin scarf of matching material looped over the hanger. It still has the tag on, with a price higher than I've ever paid in rent, let alone for clothes. "Oh," Lily breathes, fingers tapping over her lips as she settles onto the edge of the bed facing me. Her blue eyes are comically big with the work I did on her makeup, lips shiny and rosy. "I forgot I had that." I let out a small, low laugh and pulled the dress off the hanger. "Maybe with your stockings and heels?" She nods as if in a trance, takes the dress from my outstretched hands and heads to her bathroom to change. There's a cacophonous sound of stumbling before she reemerges with the scarf in hand, biting her lip. "Can you do it?" I pat the seat at her vanity, deciding to pull her auburn locks up and out of her face into a bouncy ponytail. Then I carefully wrap the scarf securely around her neck to drape down her pale, slender back. "You look very pretty, Lily." My smile is real, bright next to my best friend. "This is going to be fun. Are you ready?" She nods. "You look really hot," she says, eyeing my plain black dress. "And we match." like twins. Her smile widens, eyes twinkling. The moment feels vulnerable, like we both want to stay here and prevent the inevitable cracks and breaks we're both so used to. Lily is a little weirdo, but she's my little weirdo. So it doesn't feel cheesy to tease her with a, "Come on, bestie, let's go," as we stand and slip arm in arm out the door. The party is already in full swing when we arrive. I wanted to show up earlier, just in case Lily decided this wasn't her scene and wanted to go home. Or if it was too much for me and I needed to make an escape. But it's nice, comfortable, because for the first time I'm not here to punish myself with hate-fueled sex or upsetting hookups. I'm here for a boy I'm in love with. Bennett is against the far wall, huddled with the other guys from his line, Holden, Freddie, Reese, and dressed in a black long sleeve and jeans. Somehow he looks bigger, more powerful, more all-consuming. He's sporting a backward hat to tamp down the unruly brown and amber curls pouring out the back. He's so beautiful my breath catches, chest tightening like if I step too close he'll disappear. I take Lily's hand in mine before heading toward them, because without even looking back at her, I know her gaze is all over the place, probably looking for a 6'6" defenseman, though she won't admit it. Bennett's eyes are on mine the whole way over, like a magnet pulling our gazes to each other across lifetimes. Only this time, it doesn't hurt. Holden notices us next, eyes brightening with a playful, flirty edge.
"Ladies, Paloma, good to see you,"
he greets with a beaming grin. There's an apology in his gaze, but I nod toward him. "Doherty," I say. His smile renewed, he turns his eyes toward the girl at my side.
"Lily?"
He nods to my roommate with a sharper edge to his smile. Lily blushes and wrinkles her nose. "Holden?" Her arms cross, then release at her sides, hands flexing like she's not sure how to stand, let alone talk to the flirty defenseman. "Hey, Bennett," I whisper as I step into Bennett's already open arms. He's so soft and warm, so resolute and solid as his hands slip over my hips and to my lower back with a heavy pressure.
"Hey, P."
He smiles. His eyes are half-lidded, and he smells like citrus, no doubt from the IPAs he's drinking, like he's at a fancy brewery and not a college hockey party. And then, as if we've done this a million times before at a million other parties, he kisses me, bold and sensual, his tongue slipping to open my lips. My heart thumps so hard I can feel it trying to pop out of my chest and into his hands, like it always feels with him. His hand slowly climbs my spine and into my hair. I laugh slowly as he releases my lips but keeps hold of my hair. "How early did you start on the beers?" He smiles lazily, more relaxed and boyish than I'm sure I've ever seen him.
"Like 5 o'clock?"
A brighter laugh pulls from me then as I shake my head at my slightly drunk boyfriend. "You're drunk, love."
"Drunk on you,"
he flirts, pulling me in for another kiss, before sliding his nose against mine affectionately. His hands grip my hips in a way that has me blushing more than the kisses do, mostly because it brings back flashes of last night, the way he held me so solidly as I begged for him. I'm sure there are still slight marks on my wrists from the tie he used to keep my hands tethered. Bennett spins me to settle with my back to his front. His hand sits low on my abdomen, possessive and warm, as he continues to chat quietly with Freddie about something hockey-related. I can barely tell. My mind is floating too far above me. No, I think I'm the one drunk on Bennett Reiner.
"Want a drink?"
He asks, head tipping down to my ear, his lips and tongue lightly brushing the skin there.
I'll make it for you.
Yeah? I grin. He nods, boyish and handsome, his hair a mess as he pulls off his baseball cap and readjusts it, pushing the mop of his curls back again.
Anything you want. I'll make it for you, P. Anything for you.
His words are slightly slurred, but he's not wasted yet, just enjoying himself with his friends and with me. My cheeks warm as he spreads his hands across my waist and presses behind me to march us across the hall and into the kitchen. A couple of the guys holler his name and he nods politely, but his body heat never falters from my back, fingers squeezing on my hips. The kitchen is dimly lit and crowded, an entire table dedicated to shots of different kinds. Bennett moves behind the makeshift bar where the freshmen are working and shoos them out of his way when they try to help him.
My girlfriend. No one else touches her cup,
he says when one of the guys says something. I feel light and airy, almost giddy with affection for him. The playful side of my serious, stoic poet. Every facet of him beautiful and shimmering, like spinning a diamond in the sunlight. I tell him to make me whatever he thinks I'd like, and he goes to work, only minorly spilling the liquids. I get distracted when he spills the tequila across his hand, because it makes him giggle before he licks the side of his hand and sticks his thumb in his mouth to suck it off. My entire body flushes with heat, and I discreetly cross my legs. Whatever strange, fruity cocktail he's made, it's delicious, and I can barely taste the alcohol.
It's not much, he promises. I know you don't like to feel out of control.
Another burst of warmth from my chest, affection swirling because I didn't have to explain it. He understood. He read me like his favorite poetry book, as he always has. We stay in the kitchen, sipping on my drink together. I spend most of my energy trying to stay upright with Bennett Reiner whispering filthy words into my ear. It feels so good I want to freeze time. Us, here, young and goofy and in love.
Stay here for me?
He asks, leaning me against the bar top.
I just need to pee.
A blush takes over his face, head shaking as his hands come up to cover his eyes.
Why did I say that?
I laugh, full and open, as his hat topples off his head, though I catch it easily and slip it onto my own voluptuous curls, spinning it backward. I feel like I'm flying while flirting with him in the dingy light of the hockey dorm's kitchen. Need me to come with?
No. If I get you into a room alone right now, P.
His voice rumbles off as he crowds into my space, dipping his head to kiss my cheek, my jaw, my neck.
Just stay here. Don't move.
He steps away, mussing his curls with one hand as he hangs onto the door frame with the other. In his absence, another massive shadow appears. Torrin Kane in his usual all-black fit, tattoos fully on display.
Blake?
He nods. Kane, I say, hip-checking him as he settles next to me at the bar. He smiles, but tries to hide it with a sip from a bottle of beer. Not his usual alcoholic beverage. His rings click against the glass. Music thrums in the silence between me and my substitute shadow. Someone yells loud enough to draw my attention toward the shots table, where my little roommate has become the center of attention, whether she realizes it or not. Lily grabs for Holden's hair, jerking his head back a little roughly where he kneels patiently for her to even reach him. Torrin straightens, shoulders tight, jaw locked. "Stay still!" Lily's bell-like voice rings out. Holden nods excitedly, eyes wide on her as she tilts the bottle to pour into his mouth for a long pull. He swallows, gasping for air with a rough pant as Lily pulls her hand away from his hair. I watch Torin for a long time, though his eyes never leave the odd couple in front of him. Feel sick yet? I ask. His jaw somehow locks further, eyes flaming gold as he darts them toward me. My smirk is uncontainable. But before I can say anything else, a stumbling 6'6" handsome man makes a reappearance.
Blake.
Sorry, I gotta go, I say sarcastically with a laugh tossed over my shoulder. I point my thumb toward Bennett. That's my ride.
Chapter 69. Now, Bennett. Hate to say it like this, but you're glowing, Freddie says, clapping me on the back. Torin laughs and shakes his head. He's not a fucking pregnant woman, Frederick. Freddie frowns up at the defenseman like he might want to start something, but Holden shoves in between them to settle against the kitchen bar we're all standing around. You gonna kiss him again? Freddie asks, eyeing Holden's shoulder pressing into Torin's bicep where he's squished into the group. At Roe's birthday party in February, apparently they'd played Spin the Bottle, which resulted in a kiss between the defensive pair. Holden smirks. If you're jealous, I can plant one on you too. Reese and I laugh, while Torin merely smirks and rolls his eyes. Holden makes a kissing face toward Freddie, who shoves him off. All this, Freddie gestures to his body, is a Rosalie-only zone. It feels good to be here with my friends, drinking and laughing. Reese is near to wrestling Sadie where she's standing in her tall boots on top of the counter, him crawling up after her. They're both drunk and giggling, blissfully happy. Paloma, Lily, and Roe are dancing, laughing, spinning in a circle. Mostly, they keep Lily in the center, the slip of a girl nearly disappearing between them. Suddenly, Reese is back on the ground, Sadie slung over his shoulder before he slides her down his body and toward the group of girls, whispering something into his girlfriend's ear that makes her blush bright red before he heads toward me. We're gonna Uber home soon and get some pizza. Do you guys want to join? I nod, and Freddie joins in, until eventually our entire line, including Torin and Holden, all agree to head out together. We call the cars and gather the girls. Reese, Sadie, Paloma, and I pile into one, while Freddie, Roe, Torin, Holden, and Lily opt for the other. Our car arrives first, just in time to grab the pizza that Reese had the presence of mind to order ahead. Paloma stays outside to wait for her roommate, so I cuddle her close. Seven joins us once someone opens the door, settling at our feet after we both give him a scratch. It looks like a clown car, Paloma whispers with a laugh, watching leggy Roe and Freddie get out of the front, revealing Lily squished between Torin and Holden in the back bench seat. They all hop out, Lily darting for Paloma the moment she's free, cheeks flushed to nearly match her hair. Paloma loops her arm around her roommate's shoulder as they strut ahead, heads leaned together. Sadie plays her music, and we all lounge across the sofas and chairs in the front room. Reese scoops her up in a bridal carry and sits on one end of the couch. He unzips her heeled boots and massages her feet as she eats her pizza and cues up more music. Freddie sits at Roe's feet after giving her one of the chairs, head tipped back while she plays with his hair and feeds him a slice of pizza upside down, drunk and giggling. And maybe it's because we're all drunk and sleepy, but I don't read too much into the odd trio in the other plush chair. Torin sits with Lily perched on the edge of his thigh, legs dangling. He's not touching her at all, but her scarf is half wrapped in Torin's fist. Holden is on the ground, his shoulder pressed to the side of Torin's leg. Lily's legs keep swinging toward him, while Holden tries to catch one of her ankles with his hands as if they're playing a little game. Paloma settles at my side of the sofa, resting across my chest, sleepy and soft, her fingers dancing over my pec. I feed her pizza with one hand and comb my fingers through her hair with the other. Seven lays down happily against the edge of the sofa. It makes me remember all those months ago when I'd wished for exactly this, Her in my arms with this family we've built all around me. Safe, here, real. Later that night, I tuck a sleeping Paloma into bed. Seven climbs in after her and huffs a contented breath. I try to sneak back down to clean up, but as I turn, Paloma's fingers grasp at the hem of my shirt. "Can you just stay? I don't want to fall asleep without you." She's so beautiful lying against my sheets, amber light from the lamp that I always keep on for her, glowing across peachy skin. Her hair is a mess from my fingers and her twisting and turning. "Yeah, P, I'll stay. I don't think I could love her more if I tried." I feel a bit like Superman standing next to Paloma's car, getting my final moments with her before we load up to head to Connecticut for regionals. We're playing Dalton. I know a few guys from the team. We've played them before in season and partied with them after, but this game has more riding on it. "You sure you want to come?" I ask again. Paloma worked 3 games on the bench as part of her internship already, but Harris gave her tickets to the rest of them if she wanted to attend. "You don't have to." "Hush it," she snaps. "I'm all decked out beneath my jacket. You just haven't seen it yet." She smiles brightly up at me. "Besides, I'm going with Sadie. We're going to shop around a bit before heading to the game, and we will meet up with you after." "Are you driving?" "On the way back. We're taking my car, but Sadie's going to drive us there." She reaches a gloved hand to my cheek. "Everything will be great." The normal anxiety and heaviness on my chest are only multiplying with the weight of this game, the pressure to make it to Frozen 4 one last time. But here with Paloma, I feel a modicum of calm, like standing on the beach at Speyside, letting the waves lap at our toes. Everything will be great. We win! Thank God! It's a hard game, low scoring on both sides because we're so evenly matched. Kane gets in another fight with the same guy from last game, which only seems to irk Holden, who goes after him the next play. Still, everyone mostly plays a clean game. It's all thanks to Reese that we end the game 2-1, securing our spot in the Frozen 4 tournament. After the game, we head to a bar Reese found online, one that we could get to easily in an Uber while avoiding enemy territory. It's a country-style bar, all wooden with neon signs and something twangy playing on the speakers. Freddie opts not to go, to stay at the hotel and call his girlfriend. It's different, a break in his usual away game celebratory routine, but I couldn't be happier for him. "Jesus Christ," Reese mutters, ducking his head, a groan pouring from his mouth. My eyes shoot wide with concern. "What? Are you okay?" "No, my girlfriend is trying to kill me." Brow furrowed, I look up, seeing Sadie pushing her way through the crowd with a twisted-up smirk. She's dressed in jeans and a very cropped shirt that shows off the solid plane of her stomach, and makes me slightly worried that if she lifts her hands, she'll flash the whole bar. The kicker is that I recognize the shirt. Koteski is printed across the back in big, bold letters, but it has to be from when we were kids and cut most likely by the girl wearing it. Laughing, I shake my head at my best friend. "And you're not happy about this because... Are you two in some competition?" "Back to my usual build-up routine for Frozen 4. Meaning he won't have sex with her. I almost snort out my beer. "You've been playing fine, Reese. Why punish yourself now?" "Hey, regional champions," Sadie greets, refusing to slide into the booth with her boyfriend. "Hot shot," she whispers, hand doing something I don't want to know. I nod to her and flip my eyes away from the display when I spot who is right behind her, the love of my goddamn life. Paloma Blake, dressed in an oversized jersey with my number and name on the back, baggy jeans, blonde hair pulled back into a slicked ponytail. She smiles softly, relaxed as she approaches my side and slides into the booth with me.
Hi.
Hey, P. I press a soft kiss to her temple as she curls her hands around my biceps and cuddles into me.
Good game today,
she offers. Yeah? I grin. Thanks for cheering me on. She rolls her eyes before leaning in toward my ear.
Maybe you can read me poetry in bed when you get back, so I can see you really perform.
I'm hard as a goddamn rock, from her words, from the feel of her breath against my skin, from her. Anything for you, P. I do not know what it is about you that closes and opens, I whisper before pulling her clasped hands to my mouth, kissing her fingertips and adding, not even the rain has such small hands. She shakes her head with a fake frown, skin flushed.
You forgot the line about my eyes.
I'd rather talk about your hair.
Yeah?
I nod. Let me touch your hair, wrap it around my fingers, tightening the farther from my grasp you wander. Let me inside you. Let me sew my soul to yours like some great patchwork quilt across a sandless beach. Just you and me and the water between us. I pull back from her ear, inspecting the contours of her face cast in shadowy light.
I like that one. Who wrote it?
She asks. Me, I say, my own blush rushing up my neck and into my cheeks. Every poem I write is about you, remember? She nods.
Will you let me see them all?
I kiss the corner of her mouth, pulling her closer into this little bubble of bliss around us. One day, forever will never be enough with her. I've known that since I was 18 years old, but I'll take whatever she's willing and ready to give.
Chapter 70. Now, Paloma. I'm almost back into Boston when I spot the car tailing us. My brow furrows, but I don't say a word. Just let Sadie play ABBA and scream sing along to it. My enthusiasm dwindles the closer the car gets, until I see who the driver is through my rear view. Oh my God. Heart in my throat, I speed up just a bit, anxiety shoving my foot farther down on the gas. Red and blue lights shine bright across the darkened pavement. I speed up again. Jesus, Paloma, Sadie curses, her hand grabbing for the handle above her head. I check my rearview mirror, and my stomach drops. It's him. I know it's him. And I've done nothing illegal. Not for a detective to pull me over. He's trying to scare me. Paloma, Sadie says, her voice steady, calm. Maybe you should pull over. I can't. I try to explain, but my mouth won't open, jaw clenched tightly. Paloma, please. Sadie is more frantic this time. You're scaring me. I can't get in trouble. My brothers... I slow down, because the truth is he'll follow me all the way home, and I won't let him near Lily, or my one safe place. It opens too many old wounds. Pulling to the side of the road, I park and roll my window down. He pulls up behind us, the isolated street cold and damp from the previous rain. I look over at Sadie's wide, terrified gray eyes. I've never seen her like this before. My fingers are shaking, gripping the wheel, eyes glued to my rear view and side mirrors. Sadie, I need you to listen to me. I keep my voice steady and firm. I need you to get my phone out of my bag and call Alessia. Her eyes bug out as she looks at the man heading our way, out of an unmarked car, wearing dress pants and a button-down, gun holstered, hair slicked back. Is that? Yes. Listen to me. I need you to call or text Alessia. Tell her Ethan Marks just pulled us over and I need her, okay? She'll know what to do. Paloma, wait, what is going on? Sadie asks, taking the phone from my hand. You didn't do anything wrong. You weren't drinking or speeding. I know, I whisper, trying to calm my racing heart. I spare a glance at her, my hand reaching to grasp hers for just a minute. I'm so sorry, Sadie.
Good evening, ladies,
Ethan says, ducking his head into the space of my car.
Do you know why I pulled you over?
Because you're a fucking creep. No, I say, keeping a tight leash on my fury. I'm not scared of him anymore. I'm just angry.
You were swerving all over the road.
She was not, Sadie. I snap, cutting her off. Everything is fine. Let me just...
License and registration?
I grab the documents and shove them into his hands roughly, huffing out, Just let us go. I'm not trying to cause a problem. He smirks, handing me back both my ID card and the papers for registration.
Right. Step out of the vehicle, Paloma.
Fury ignites like a match. Fuck you, I snap. I didn't do anything wrong. As if it was what he wanted all along, he yanks on the door handle.
Do you want to do this the hard way?
I look toward the rearview mirror again, seeing another figure under the streetlight move toward Sadie's side of the car. She looks terrified, enough that my stomach twists and I unclip my seatbelt. I push on the now unlocked door, sliding off the seat and into the den of a lion. Leave her alone, I say. Not a plea, but a command. Ethan grasps my arm and spins me toward the vehicle like he's going to pat me down, eyes blazing, intense. I press my own hands against the side of the car to steady myself. His hands run up my calves in quick succession, then over my thighs, across my ass, lingering slightly but not fully, before touching my stomach. He presses his fingers up, 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 before his body comes closer, his chest nearly flush with my back.
Easy, Polly,
he says quietly, like a haunting lullaby I remember. I can feel his breath against my neck, making my stomach churn with renewed nausea and rage like I've never known. For a moment, I see flashes of a girl at 14, 15, 16, terrified of him and yet desperate for someone to care about her. And maybe it's their rage, or maybe it's mine, that has my grip on my control unraveling as I spin to hit him as hard as I can. The sterile, cold lights make me feel more exposed, but it's Sadie I'm most worried about. She's next to me, one hand in mine, her other arm wrapped around her torso as Max Koteski stands behind her trying to calm her down.
But,
she blubbers,
the boys?
Her voice is watery, like she might be crying. My stomach clenches and I stare down at my shoes.
Am I going to be in trouble? What if...
You're okay, Sadie, Max whispers, kneeling and tucking her into his arms, which pulls her grip from mine. It might be the first time I've ever seen Sadie hug anyone that wasn't Reese, Roe, or her brothers.
It's fine. Just calm down for me, Zachenka. Water, Paloma?
Adam asks, stepping up with a cup in each hand. I take one gladly, nibbling on my lip as I obsessively watch the door Ethan entered when we arrived.
Do you need something for your hand?
The question makes my eyes dart away, looking down at the split skin over my knuckles. Is it strange that it makes me smile? I'm okay. Adam nods.
Everything is gonna be fine. I'll take care of it.
Oh my God! A voice shouts, followed by the sound of clicking heels. It's Alessia, running toward me at breakneck speed. Her arms fling around my shoulders. She's in black boots, a red coat, and black gloves with perfectly styled hair, like she was in the middle of a high-fashion shoot and not out to dinner with friends. I melt into her, breath sawing out of me.
Are you okay? God, Paloma, tell me you're okay.
I'm okay, I manage, before slinking out of her embrace and back against the wall. Alessia,
who the hell are you?
She snaps, deciding that Adam Reiner is too close, towering over us both. Her eyes run over his messy brown curls, graying at the temple, and across his slightly rumpled suit and tie getup, brow furrowing. This is Bennett's dad. He's here to help. I shake my head, eyes dropping. I'm fine. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. You did nothing wrong.
Her eyes go cold, and she turns to look around the room before she sneers.
Where the fuck is he?
She's the only one that knows everything, though I'm sure Sadie's figured much of it out by now. So when her eyes connect with Ethan as he steps out of the office, she takes off again. Heart in my throat, I can't even manage to shout for her. But Adam seems to figure it out fine, his legs moving swiftly behind her. Hey! Alessia shouts, grabbing Ethan's biceps to spin him toward her. But before she can hit him, Adam swoops an arm around her waist and scoops her backward against his chest. She wrestles against him. But he says something in her ear that has her eyes shooting up toward him, fight leaving her body. He lets her go after a moment, both ignoring whatever Ethan is shouting, as well as the cops surrounding him. Adam takes over, speaking swiftly and calmly, low enough that I can't hear.
What the fuck?
Ethan spits. His face is red, and I wonder if it's from me. My arms were swinging wildly. I know my elbow caught his jaw, and he's got a patched-up cut on his eyebrow, so maybe that's where my hit landed.
Fuck you!
Alessia shouts. I take another sip of water, hands shaking, eyes never straying from the scene. There's another burst of noise, and all our eyes are drawn to the entrance, where Bennett and Reese are shoving their way through.
Gray!
It's almost a frantic shout as Reese makes it to us first, reaching down and grabbing Sadie out of his father's arms. He scans his eyes over her, making sure she's all right, before picking her up and tucking her head into the crook of his neck for a long moment. Her legs wrap around his waist, and I see relief pour over him before he turns his face away, kissing her hair and whispering quietly as her shoulders shake. Bennett stops right in front of me, head ducking to look into my eyes. My stomach somersaults. A long moment passes, both of us just looking at each other, searching for something. And I let my walls fully down, pouring everything I have into the string that seems to bind us. He nods, like he understands some great truth. Bennett closes his eyes only for a moment, breathing slowly, before tucking his hand under my chin.
Are you okay?
I nod. His brows dip as he glances over me again, his hands moving my body like a doll, inspecting every inch before.
What the fuck?
He snaps, voice louder. His nostrils are flaring like an angry bull, shoulders hiking with tension.
Who did this to you?
My gaze flutters past his body anxiously, toward where Ethan, Alessia, and Adam are still standing off. Bennett tracks my gaze, a punch of breath leaving him, as his eyes close tightly and then open over me. They drop back to my bruised hand again.
Was it him?
His voice sounds like gravel in a blender. My eyes dart away, only for a second, before Bennett's hands bracket my face, gentle but firm.
P,
he breathes. Yes, I say, my voice quiet.
You hit him?
He asks, his voice still steady but overwrought. I can feel the intensity he's holding back like a wave.
Because he... Paloma.
He swallows, his throat working against the strain.
Is that who...
My eyes squeeze shut. I know what he's asking, and I don't want to say it.
Tell me, P, please.
He swallows hard.
Was it my fucking stepfather? Was it Ethan?
I nod, biting down on my lip and taking in a shaky breath. Bennett's face cracks, just for a moment. Pure anguish and grief, guilt flash across it, clear as day. I have a front row seat to the confession that I always worried would break him. But then he straightens, body somehow growing bigger and taller as he nods heavily. His eyes stay glued on my bruised hand as he juts his chin toward his best friend.
Reese.
That's all he has to say. Reese, Sadie still in his arms, steps to my side as Bennett storms heavily across the room toward where Adam is still holding Alessia, looser now, and Ethan is talking to an officer. He eyes Bennett's approach, and I swear he looks nervous. But there isn't some kind, simpering look. It's a sinister, mocking smirk that I recognize, one that makes me back up just a step before I steady myself. Bennett is here. Alessia is here. Adam is here. No one is going to hurt me. As if she knows where my thoughts have gone, Sadie's hand dusts over my shoulder and squeezes. I'm grateful for the support, more than she knows. But my eyes are locked on Bennett as he approaches my nightmare of the last 7 years. Ethan opens his mouth and spits something at Bennett. Something vile, clearly, by Alessia's reaction. Adam, jaw clenched, fury bright on his face, has to cage her in again as she reaches to hit him. But no one is there to stop Bennett. My boyfriend lets his fist fly. Blood sprays from Ethan's nose, and Adam lets Alessia go, shoving her body behind his and grasping his son's biceps, though Adam doesn't look disapproving so much as protective, pulling Bennett closer to him. Bennett doesn't say anything to Ethan, only stares at him for a long time, nostrils flaring, jaw locked, as if there's so much he wants to spew at him he can't get it out. Instead, Bennett turns away, shrugging out of his dad's grip and quickly walking back to me. He looks intense, like an avenging angel, a bit of blood splattered across his shirt as he stalks toward me quickly. There is a practiced calm there, covering the simmering fury underneath.
Come here, P.
He whispers, opening his arms and pulling me into his embrace, tucking his hands into my hair as he presses a kiss to the top of my head.
You're okay. Everything is gonna be okay.
He keeps whispering phrases over me as I sink into his body.
You're okay.
Fingers combing through my hair, careful of a few knots I've created.
Nothing is going to hurt you again, ever.
A kiss to my temple, the scratch of stubble.
I'm not leaving you alone. I'm here.
His fingers on my wrist, pulling my right hand to kiss around the busted skin, careful, as if I'm made of glass. Adam is still calming everyone down in the corner, conversing with an older officer who I assume might be in charge. Alessia appears next to us and speaks quickly to Max and Reese, who both nod and then leave, Sadie sandwiched between their tall forms. Then she ushers me, still in Bennett's arms, into an empty conference room. Adam follows in after us.
They need to talk to you, to open a report,
Alessia says, sitting on the lip of the table, crossing her legs.
After that, we can go home.
I nod, not bothering to ask for any clarification, but a little rush of worry sneaks up my spine. I don't want to go in alone. I don't trust. Adam raises his hand and nods.
Alessia has made everything quite clear to me. That won't be an issue. I promise.
There is a vow in his words, the same steadiness I see in Bennett, now clear in his father's eyes.
You're not alone, P.
Bennett whispers, pressing another solid kiss to my temple, hand moving beneath the curtain of my hair to massage lightly at the base of my skull. You'll come with me? I ask, eyes finding Alessia's. She smiles and nods.
I always have you, Paloma. You know that.
I step forward to her, letting her take my hand in hers. Bennett watches me vigilantly before clearing his throat.
I think maybe my dad should go too, just in case. He's a lawyer, and if it's okay with you, it would make me feel better knowing he's there to look out for you.
I nod. But if I expected Adam to deny his need to be there, I'm wrong. Instead, he's locked in a long, intense look with his son.
You have to take care of her,
Bennett says. A moment passes between them. Identical blue eyes, matching hard lines of their body, intensity in equal measure.
I will, Ben,
his father says.
I promise.
They step just outside, giving me a moment alone with Bennett. My mouth opens repeatedly, but I can't manage the words to explain it all, to tell him everything. I'm sorry, I didn't... He cuts me off with a quick shake of his head.
No, P, don't do that.
His hands are still tucked into his pockets, brow set deeply as he watches me carefully. Neither of us move, toward or away from each other. You promise you'll stay here? I hate how needy, how desperate my voice sounds, but I can't stop it. Then it moves, the long length of his legs taking him directly in front of me. My eyes don't move away from his sneakers.
You know you can trust me?
I nod.
You know I love you?
I nod again, swallowing against the knot in my throat, blinking away any tears threatening me.
Then let me take care of you, P. We can talk after.
He takes my face in his hands, careful as he tips my head back to look at him. He's so beautiful.
I'll be right here when you're done, okay?
I nod again, raising one of my hands to linger over his.
And then we're going to go home, and I'm going to run you a bath and wash your hair and feed you. I'm going to take care of you, like I always do.
Okay.
You're so strong, Paloma.
He kisses my forehead, lips lingering, nose tilting against my hair. And then he leaves. It's only a few minutes and one hot coffee later that they bring in the detective to take my statement. With Alessia holding my hand and Adam standing like a sentry beside me, I let the words I've held back for years spill forward. About my mom, about the men in our house, about the cold, frigid nights and my fear. I tell them about Ethan, how we met and what he did to me. I even explained that it's why I broke up with Bennett the first time. And I spare them no detail. Afterward, the detective leaves. Adam stands in the corner, arms crossed, anger palpable, though I know it isn't at me. It's for what has happened to me. And yet I can't stop from saying, I'm sorry. Adam shakes his head and steps forward.
Don't apologize. Someone should have been protecting you. This isn't your fault.
It's complicated, I whisper. Alessia eyes me with a firm shake of her head. But it's Adam who says,
You were 14, Paloma.
In a frustrated whisper as he sits down in the chair beside me.
You didn't know any better, and someone should have been watching out for you, taking care of you.
He stands and reaches out his arms, tentative but steady. I follow suit, allowing myself to step into them this time, letting Adam Reiner hug me. Alessia pets my hair, smoothing out the tangles slowly.
You did nothing wrong. You're okay, and you're here, alive. And you're telling us now. Bennett won't let anything happen to you. Alessia won't let anything happen to you.
He clears his throat, but it makes no difference in the garbled sound of his voice.
I won't let anything happen to you.
This must be what having good parents would be like. Chapter 71. Now, Paloma. We drive back to Bennett's dad's home. Bennett sits up front with his dad, while Alessia sits with me in the back seat. She holds my hand like a mother might. After I finished my story, telling it quickly, mostly in order, I felt drained. Talking about it wasn't difficult for me, but it didn't stop the exhaustion in the aftermath.
Have you noticed the way you talk about these things?
Dr. Sutton said once after I'd explained my mother briefly what growing up was like for me.
It's like they happened to someone else.
Maybe it was easier that way. Maybe it was safer. And maybe I knew it wouldn't be like that with Bennett. With him, I'm always vulnerable. My heart too soft and open because of the trust he's spent nearly 4 years building. Which is why I'd avoided him after we left the interrogation room, hands tight to my sides, sticking close to Alessia and as far away from the hovering goalie as possible. The clear hurt written across his face never faltered, even as his dad settled a hand on his shoulder to direct him out. Bennett had jerked away from him, angry and confused and frustrated in a way that was almost palpable. No one speaks for the entire drive. When we arrive in Beacon Hill, Adam opens the door and helps Alessia out, who turns around to help me. Bennett's hand hovers by my waist when I almost fall trying to climb out, but he doesn't touch me, which makes me feel worse. Alessia pulls me away from the concerned Reiner men, her palm on my shoulder as she ushers me into the house.
Go upstairs and take all the time you need,
she commands lightly.
Do you want Bennett to come up and see you in a little while?
I hesitate, wishing this wasn't my decision. Slipping my chin up over my shoulder, I look back at Bennett. He's standing quietly, hands in pockets, eyes on me, red and waterlogged. But there are evident traces of fury across the planes of his handsome face. I nod. As I step away, I can barely make out the click of Alessia's tall heels and her voice.
Palema's going to shower and sleep in your room, but I think you should give her some space, just for a bit.
My steps grow quicker after that. It feels like days go by between my shower, changing clothes, and sitting on Bennett's bed. But it's only been an hour. Seven is at my side, his paw on my thigh like he wants me to lay down so he can press his weight on top of me. He can feel my anxiety. I feel stupid, sitting in Bennett's clothes, my usual wooden paddle brush in my hand, tangled hair creating a wet spot on the back of my shirt. But I can't do it. A knock finally sounds at the door. I feel a hiccup caught in my chest as I wait for Bennett to enter.
Pete?
Come in, I squeak out, eyes welling almost immediately at the disheveled sight of him. He stands at the foot of his own bed like a stranger, eyes downcast like he can't look at me. My hand squeezes on the handle of the brush. I feel stupid, ridiculous. I'm sorry if I shouldn't be here, I whisper. And I know I need to explain.
You don't.
He cuts me off, voice gruff.
Not if you don't want to. I don't want to ever take something from you that you didn't want to give.
My heart aches. Bennett, I want to explain. To you. Because you deserve to know, but also because I want to tell you, so you can have all of me. His eyes are blistering and sincere as he stares down at me.
Okay,
he says. Bennett takes a step forward, then pauses, and, voice filled with the same vulnerability I feel, asks,
Do you want me to brush your hair?
Please? I ask, scooting forward on the bed. Bennett comes around my side, settling the bulk of his body at my back. He takes the brush from my hand and starts on the ends of my tangled hair, never pulling, ever gentle. And the almost hypnotic feeling that comes from the task allows me to speak. This time, As I tell the story he's heard in pieces, I tell it as myself.
Have you noticed the way you talk about these things? It's like they happened to someone else.
I don't know what you mean, I say, hugging myself around the middle as I settle back in the chair. It's not that it's fine. It happened, and now it's over.
Paloma,
she says, voice soft.
It happened to you, and I think you need to remember that.
It's hard, sometimes, to remember that the little girl with pigtails in the back of my mind, who forces me to hold on to the velveteen rabbit stuffed animal and keep a constant grip on my backpack like someone will take it, is me. Bennett sits quietly, even after he finishes brushing every strand of hair, careful and tender. A solid presence against my back, firm, unyielding, like he's always been. I tell him everything. How Ethan found me, how he manipulated me for years, how he took my virginity at 14 and then spent the next 2 years convincing me I'd asked for something I knew I didn't want. I explain the mind games, the times he picked me up in a police cruiser from my friends' places, keeping me isolated and terrified of leaving or telling anyone. It takes a long time, long enough that it's 3 a.m. by the time I finish, voice hoarse. I'm sure there will be more stories, pieces of trauma that come out at different times throughout my life. Dr. Sutton had warned me as much, and even she hadn't gotten to talk about this with me just yet. And there are still things I'm not ready to say, as if saying them aloud makes them more real than they already are, or gives them more power to hurt me again. But I've said enough. Lastly, I explained the full story of what happened on New Year's Eve our freshman year, when I saw Ethan again. Part of me wants to downplay it, to make Bennett feel better. But lying and covering up for 3 years hasn't helped anyone. So I don't. It was bad. I should have told you. But I was scared. Bennett's arms, loose at his sides with his massive hands resting on the curve of my waist, suddenly lift and disappear. The lack of his weighted touch fills me with a rush of anxiety.
P,
he says, the singular letter nearly a gasp.
God, I'm so sorry. If I'd known, I would have never.
I know, I say, quieting him, turning to kneel between his spread legs. I don't blame you. I just needed you to know everything. I needed you to understand why I pushed you away that night. I'm sorry I hurt you. It hurt me, too. A strange smile edges across my face, but it's real and warm. I feel a little lighter now as I look at Bennett. The stubble across his cheeks, his disheveled curls, the depths of blue ocean water in his eyes. He's older now, but I can see him at 18, eyes just as bright with wonder as I lean in to kiss his mouth slowly. I think for a long time I just wanted to know that someone cared if I was alive, I say. And I was scared because I felt alone. I was worried if you knew about Ethan, about my past, I'd lose the one person in this world who cared about me.
You're never going to be alone again, okay?
He presses a kiss to my temple.
I care about you. My dad, Alessia, Lily, Sadie, Torrin, Reese, Freddie, Roe, Holden, Coach Harris, 7. They all care about you. You're important to so many people.
He keeps his hands on my face, pulling me forward to look into his beseeching gaze. It's desperation in his voice when he begs,
"Tell me you understand."
I nod. Bennett shakes his head, the scruff of his 5 o'clock shadow scraping over my forehead.
Say it, Paloma. Tell me that you're important.
His voice is all dominating seriousness. I'm important.
Tell me that you are loved.
He says it adamantly, with a ferociousness I can't say I've seen in him before. I'm loved.
Tell me that you know how much I care about you.
He gasps a breath, eyes welling.
That I couldn't do this life without knowing you're alive and safe and okay. That you are the greatest love I've ever known and ever will know. That your kindness, gentleness, love, it saved me before you even knew me. Tell me you know.
I do. I breathe, pulling him closer, holding him tighter. He grips me the same, until I cannot tell where I end and he begins. Time passes slowly. Bennett gathers me somehow closer, his hands in my hair starting to quiet my mind. The exhaustion I'd already felt leaving the police station renewed tenfold. My eyes feel as heavy as my body in his arms.
I'm sorry,
he whispers into my skin, leaving passionate, forceful kisses behind, as if trying to mark me.
I'm sorry. I failed you. I won't let it happen again.
He's saying something wrong, something important. But my eyes are weary now that I've found a moment of peace. I mutter something about feeling so tired, so sleepy to him. He quiets his own words, petting my hair and slowly maneuvering us to lay flat. I'm asleep before I can hear whatever he says next.
Chapter 72. Now, Bennett. I don't sleep. My dad is in the kitchen when I come downstairs, head bent over his phone, laptop open. I'm almost sure he never went to sleep. He's wearing his glasses, which he only wears when his eyes are irritated. "Bennett?" he says, eyes snapping up at the sound of my entrance. "You okay?" "Fine." I slip the word out, just barely. He nods, eyes darting back down to the papers in front of him as I ask, "Did you know about Ethan? Is that why you never liked him?" My dad heaves a sigh, his features sinking in exhaustion. He's always looked young and vibrant to me, but now he seems older, serious in a way I haven't seen in a long time. "Not exactly. I didn't know everything for sure, but I had a gut feeling about him. That, and a few of my early interactions with Paloma. She seemed scared of me." Another thing I missed. "Are those all about Paloma?" I ask, gesturing to the brown manila folders spread and stacked precariously across the countertop that he set up as his workspace. I wonder briefly why he's not in his office. "No, just this one." He nods and holds up the thickest one. "The rest are from Alessia. She's been busy." "What do you mean?" "She's kept tabs on Ethan, at least since Paloma came to her at 16, through a women's shelter referral. As usual with offenders like him, where there's one victim, there's a trail. So many who came forward only to be shut down or have their cases closed with no real help. It's... God, Ben, it's bad." He shuffles a few of the folders and breathes, head in his hands. "These are all the girls who agreed to come forward, testify. I'm sure there are more we don't know about and possibly never will." My dad sounds furious, angry, never one to hide his emotions. I stay silent, nauseous and unable to think of anything to add. "Where's Alessia?" "She's sleeping in my room." Adam sighs. "At least, hopefully. but I doubt she's gonna sleep until she sets her eyes on Paloma again.
His hands dust over the top of Paloma's file.
It's worse than I thought. She's going to need us, Ben.
A wave of pure pain buckles my knees. My hands grip onto the counter harshly, enough that I jostle the file and a few loose items fly across the floor. I reach down, but pause and sink to my knees at the small, worn photograph between my thumb and forefinger. Paloma. I know it's her, but she can't be more than 5 or 6 years old. She has pigtails and her favorite stuffed rabbit, though in the photo it's still bright and new, no missing threads or lopsided stuffing. She's grinning at the camera, but her eyes look almost worried, like this was the moment things started to change. I don't realize I'm crying until my dad's hand on my arm makes me jump, body sliding away from him with a gasping breath. He kneels next to me, eyes wide, hands settling on my shoulders.
Breathe, Bennett. Breathe.
I try to, but I can't stop feeling it, seeing it all over and over again. Her, in her dorm room, trying to make something new, the things she let slip, the small comments that had made me look twice at her, but I'd let them all go, because I just wanted to be near her. And instead, I'd only caused her more pain, because I wasn't paying attention to see what was happening, what I allowed to happen.
It's not your fault,
my dad says.
My eyes slip into a glare, fury radiating off me as I push to stand, shoving him away. Yeah, I brought her face to face with the man who fucking abused her for years, and what, I'm just supposed to live with that?
His eyes shudder, his own torrent of emotions nearly slipping through.
You have to figure out a way past that guilt, Bennett. You couldn't have known. She didn't tell you. She didn't tell me because she was scared, and I just let it fucking happen. You didn't. I don't want to talk about it right now, I grit out, almost flushed with the panicked feeling swirling through me. Just tell me you're taking care of it.
He wrestles for a moment over what to say before brushing a hand through his hair.
Yes, of course, Bennett. I'm doing everything I can to make sure Ethan Marks pays for everything he did, and I'm trying my hardest to keep her out of it.
My nostrils flare.
You have to. Please don't make her see him again.
My dad nods, eyes red as he rubs at them again. He looks years worth of exhausted.
I'm trying, Bennett. Please. His words trail off. You have to trust me with this.
A long silence settles between us, heavy with tension. I nod.
Do you want some coffee? Or I can clear out of here if you want some space to cook.
I shake my head.
All right, he says, a little stiff, awkward, words I'd never used to describe my dad. I'm going to shower, and I'll be right back.
Another wave of guilt rolls through me. A few years ago, it wouldn't have been like this between us. Tension stretching, anxiety swirling. My dad would have hugged me already and not second-guessed his instincts when it came to what I needed from him. But it's my fault. I did this to us, pushing him away, making our entire situation wrong and painful. The same way you did to Paloma, huh? My stomach rolls again, but this time with something different, a strong emotion that has my throat clogged, my hand rubbing my eyes to hide the well of tears. Grief for time lost with my dad, with Paloma. Stumbling, I step toward the stairs and back into my room, as quiet as I can be. Seven is still asleep at Paloma's side, and she's curled around him in my absence. She's so beautiful, and so deeply sad. Each of her tears feels like ripping my fingernails out, the pain just as great as the compulsion to do something so punishing. How did I miss it? What is so fucking wrong with me that I couldn't fix this? Couldn't take care of her? Wrong, wrong, wrong. I should have known. She takes in another deep, rattling breath, like a leftover sob leaking into her sleep. I clench my fist. Everyone I've ever loved has only faced demons I can't win against. Nothing physical I can lay my anger and fear into. Only things I was too late to stop. Reese and his panic, his anxiety, my dad and his self-inflicted solitude, my mother and her self-hatred, her unsettled fear of loneliness. Paloma. I look at her now, and I can see her as that little girl. The photo of her in the fucking case file, 5 years old with lopsided pigtails and mismatched bows, and the velveteen rabbit in her grip. I can see her at 15, confused and scared and threatened by someone who was meant to protect her, abandoned by everyone else. I can see her at 18, remember her beneath my hands, wonder-eyed as we touched for the first time, falling in love with me, so much more experienced and yet not. No one had ever held her with care. Does she believe I abandoned her to rot in her own self-hatred, that I stood by while she hurt herself with guilt and pain, thinking that she wasn't worth the battle? Why can't I get this fucking right? Why can't I save just one of them? I feel like I'm drowning, only this time I don't want to come back up for air. I feel like a failure, on the verge of a panic attack. Breathe. I try to listen to the voice that sounds like a warbled mix of Dr. Anya and my dad. Make a list. 1. I failed Paloma. I brought her worst nightmare back into her life. 2. Paloma is still asleep in my room, for now. 3. My dad noticed something was wrong. I didn't. I failed him and her. 4. Reese barely came back, and I had no hand in that. He did better without me bringing him down. Is Paloma the same? There's only one conclusion. Everyone is hurting, and I'm only making it worse.
Chapter 73. Now, Paloma. 7 is in bed with me, and Bennett is gone when I wake up. My head feels heavy enough that I roll over like I might just sleep for longer, before deciding that might be my worst idea. The first time I met Alessia Baudelaire, she let me stay at her apartment. I was too scared to go home or anywhere else, so she took care of it, took care of me. And I remember feeling so sick the next morning, not wanting to leave or get out of bed, terrified of what would happen next. "Take the time you need," she told me in that same firm but soft voice. "But then you have to get up. That's what we do. We get up, we keep going. Women can survive anything. We're the stronger ones. Remember that when someone tries to make you feel small or weak. Get up. Get up." I push up and grab for the water by the bed, realizing there are wrappers next to it. Goldfish and a protein bar, half eaten. I know I'm the one who ate them, but Bennett must have been in a rush if he left them here. He never leaves trash out. That captures my attention. I slide off his bed and stumble into the bathroom to brush my teeth, wash my face, and braid my hair back. Adam is downstairs in the kitchen, still dressed as he was last night, leaning halfway over the counter as he whispers quietly to Alessia, who was wearing a sweatshirt and soft flannel pants I'm nearly positive belonged to Adam Reiner. I wonder if he gave them to her, since she didn't want to leave me here. The tension between them at the police station seems to have dissolved.
Good morning, Paloma.
Adam greets first, but steps backward, giving me unneeded space. Good morning, I reply, quiet, eyes still searching. Where's Bennett? The question seems to jolt Adam. He grabs for his phone and checks it before blowing out a heavy breath.
He went for an early morning run, I think. That's good. He needs a little movement and quiet time, yeah?
Yeah, except Bennett doesn't really run.
Do you want something to eat? Coffee?
Adam asks me. Coffee, I say. I don't take him up on food, thinking only of Bennett. Cooking calms him, and maybe feeding me will make him feel better. Maybe it will help us both. Adam starts on my coffee from the expensive stainless steel machine, while I step up next to Alessia at the counter. What happens now? I finally ask, chewing on my lip.
Everything is up to you,
Adam says. The words are meant to make me more comfortable, but they have the opposite effect.
But I think most important is setting up someone for you to talk to.
Oh,
Paloma already has a therapist she sees.
Alessia butts in as Adam hands me a steaming, frothy latte.
And as long as this guy isn't lying about how good of a lawyer he is, I think we're all set. I wish I'd gotten a hit in, though.
The memory of Bennett's fist hitting Ethan square in the nose makes me grin into my mug. It's a scene I'll be playing over again many times in my mind, for sure. Adam tries to hide a brief, amused smile toward Alessia, but I clock it. I'm okay, I say, taking a quick sip that burns my tongue. But I meant more that I'm not in trouble, and Sadie is okay. I just don't want to cause something.
Everything is taken care of on that end.
Adam soothes me, sending me a quick wink.
I may not be the best father, but I'm not lying. I am a good lawyer.
He says it with a slight chuckle. It makes my chest squeeze slightly because I don't think he's a bad father. I don't think that Bennett thinks that either. But trying to console him without Bennett here feels wrong.
We can wait on everything else until you're ready and know how you want to handle it,
Alessia adds.
And you have time.
I nod. I want to ask more questions. What happened to Ethan? What happens now? Will I have to talk to more people about this whole thing? But before I can say anything else, the door opens and Seven leaves his place on my feet. I follow him, moving swiftly to the front door, where Bennett now stands. Only clad in an athletic shirt and shorts, he's pink from the icy wind and cold weather. Sweat soaks his clothes and his hair. His eyes are red-rimmed. My shoulders relax, though not fully, because I can feel the tension hanging in the air, careful and almost electric. Are you all right? I ask, calling his attention to me. Bennett nods, pressing a hand through his droopy, honeyed brown curls.
Yeah.
You've got to be freezing.
I'm fine,
he says, stepping out of his shoes and standing still, not moving toward me.
Good morning, Paloma.
My heart warms at the familiar, belated greeting. Good morning, Bennett. It's almost like he's unsure where he wants to move, if he wants to at all. He's frozen in the hallway, muscles tense, eyes pointed at my feet.
Are you all right?
He finally asks, the lines of his face tight, lips pressed together. I'm okay, I whisper. Hungry, though. It works like a charm, Bennett nodding and stepping past me into the kitchen. Seven is still sitting at the front door, unsure where to go. He looks at me, then down the hall, back and forth until finally he comes to my side and nudges me with his nose. Brilliant dog. We trek behind Bennett, both of our brown eyes filled with worry over the boy we love so much. I nearly run into Bennett's back as he stalls out in the doorway, before stepping close to his side and grabbing him around the elbow. He clears his throat, staring awkwardly around the kitchen as Alessia and Adam stand straight from their relaxed postures. Adam Reiner knows his son, loves him dearly, and it barely takes a second before he calls,
"We were just heading to the living room to discuss a few things. We'll get out of your hair."
Bennett doesn't say anything, but allows his dad to cup the back of his neck, sliding his hand to his shoulder in a tight, firm squeeze. Their eyes meet for a moment, a clash of deep ocean blues, before the eldest of them moves away, letting Alessia follow. "Do you want me to help?" He shakes his head, grabbing a towel and placing it over his shoulder while turning on the oven to heat.
"You can go sit with them while I do this,"
he says, gesturing vaguely around the room. He still won't really look at me. "All right," I say, letting him have this time, the same way he's given me so much. I don't pay much attention to whatever it is they're talking about, choosing to stand nearest the kitchen doors so that I can hear him if he calls for me, though I'm sure that he won't. Alessia and Adam talk quietly. She hasn't told me much about her own story, just that she can relate, that there are similarities in our pasts. I can see her guard is up just slightly. She has a sharp tongue and witty retort to everything hard on his sleeve Adam Reiner has to say. I don't join them in their conversation, too distracted by the racing thoughts of concern over Bennett, standing steps away. Something feels off. Seven is in the kitchen, near Bennett, hovering like he can sense it too. A part of me is tempted to ask Adam about it, to see if Bennett's dad has picked up on anything or knows what I can do to make this better, easier for him. Suddenly, there's a shattering, cacophonous sound, and a low curse followed by a loud clang. I take off to the kitchen without a glance back, hoping no one follows for now. "Bennett?" I call, turning into the room. My stomach drops. Porcelain shards are scattered everywhere. A pan of biscuits is strewn across the floor, and Bennett is on his knees by the still open oven, the top of his hands and arms bright red and darkening by the second. "Oh my God," I breathe, stepping toward him and sinking to my knees by his side. He grimaces, stretching one pinkened hand out.
"Don't. You'll cut yourself, P."
His voice is scratchy and raw. I ignore him and scoot closer, trying to avoid shards where I can, but more concerned with him. Bennett Reiner has never broken a dish and never, ever burned food. "Hey, those burns look like they hurt. Come with me and let's get cleaned up, yeah?" He doesn't argue with me, but when he does manage to stand, he hoists me up onto the kitchen counter to run his hands carefully over my bare legs and feet to check them. I grab his chin as he tries to check them a third time, shaking my head lightly. "I'm okay. You already looked," I say, voice firm. "Now come with me upstairs." Bennett nods, letting me down and following me upstairs. Once we're in the bathroom, door closed, I turn on the shower. Bennett waits stationary, stiff by the door. I nod for him to come closer, which he obliges silently, becoming a shadow at my back. I run cool water at the sink, testing with my fingers until it's just the right temperature, then reach for his arm and set it beneath the running water. Slowly, methodically, I attempt to soothe his reddened skin on each arm, before wrapping them in soft hand towels with cool water. They're not bad burns, probably from grabbing for the pan without mittens and dropping it across his arms in pain. After a long moment, I reach for the cold compresses, checking his skin. He watches me intently. Get undressed for me. He follows the command easily before allowing me to direct him into the shower. I leave the door open as I undress, too, pulling my hair loose from the braid before stepping under the warm spray. Bennett doesn't speak as I lather up soap and wash his body slowly. He doesn't speak as I pull at his neck, ducking his head so I can scrub my hands through his hair, washing his scalp, gentle and careful. His breath puffs more labored into my neck as I move my fingertips to the base of his scalp, massaging slightly. A noise sounds low in his throat, and he stumbles, catching himself with one hand on the tile wall behind me, the other wrapped tightly on the curve of my waist. I gasp, feeling my skin heat under his attention.
P.
He breathes, his voice a whisper cry. I'm here, I whisper back, curling my hands around his shoulder and pulling him to me. I'm okay. Everything is okay, remember? He shakes his head, but clutches me somehow closer. The soap lingering on his body rushes over my skin, slippery and wet as we slide against each other. For a long time, we just stand there, water pulsing against us, only half of my body wet, where he's been a wall against the spray.
Can I wash your hair?
He pleads, his hand trailing to tuck against my hair.
Please, P.
I nod, and he turns me toward the shower so he can gently, carefully wet my curls. It's impossible not to feel the hard length of him grow against me the more his fingers are in my hair.
So beautiful.
The whisper of his fingers over my low spine make me shiver and arch.
God damn it, Paloma, I'm sorry.
I try to turn, but he catches my chin. What?
I want to fuck you.
He shakes his head with a self-deprecating laugh.
Is that so fucked up? I can't stop thinking about it.
Normally, I'd point out that we are dating and naked in the shower together, that his desire for me is anything but fucked up, that feeling desired by him right now is more healing for me than he could ever understand. But the look on his face is filled with anxiety and self-hatred, so I shake my head almost violently. No, Bennett, I whisper, turning in his arms despite his attempts at resistance. I want you. I want you to make me feel good.
Chapter 74. Now, Bennett. Her permission rolls over me like a calm, lapping wave on a dry beach. A groan works from my throat, and I bury my fingers in Paloma's wet hair, pressing my mouth to her neck as I trip forward. My hands cup the back of her skull carefully to keep her from bashing it with the intensity of the kiss as I press her into the tile. It's her in the water. It's her here in my arms, moving like I've watched her body move for more than 3 years. My fingers drag across her skin almost desperately. There is no exchange of power, no tip of my control, just her moving against me. Bite down on my shoulder again and let me show you. Like poetry in motion, like water against skin, I tongue along her collarbone to taste her sharper edges, harder to find with the curve and softness of her skin. The water is warm enough to give her skin the peachy flush that drives me wild, to the point that I feel like I'll break without being inside of her. Let me inside you, I beg into her ear, biting down on her shoulder. She nods, head tipping back, one of her thighs tightening where she's almost climbed my body. I take myself in hand, one hard tug before slipping against her wet skin into the warmth of her pussy.
I'm tall, but my thighs are arguably my strongest attribute, so it's not hard to bend at the knee and rest her body against them, hoisting her up off the tile floor slightly. It makes her entire body arch, fingers scoring into my skin with light scratches. Too much, love? I breathe with a grin into her ear. I can take it, she whispers. A soft kiss to her temple, so at odds with the roaring energy in my body. I know you can. You always take it so good for me. Another wild noise bursts from her lips as my hands dip to her hips, positioning her back against the wall so I can fuck with more power, more intensity. Her hips move, swiveling, before rocking back and forth, enough that I pause fully seated inside her, allowing her to take from me what she so desperately wants. She grinds against me like I know she loves, the same way she always comes hard across my thigh muscles. Only now I can feel her as the spasms start, the inside of her gripping me. The tightness of her is like a punch to the gut. She's so beautiful when she's put together, but here, beneath the water, droplets tracing paths across her skin, brown eyes with pupils blown wide, framed by damp, sticking lashes. She's otherworldly. Her skin is flushed all the way to her goddamn toes, fingers tight against the soft muscles of my arms, waist suspended in my hands, lips bitten as she comes long and hard just for me. A goddess, a siren, the fucking ocean herself personified, and somehow in my hands. Let me come inside you, I breathe, because I need it. Tell me I can. Tell me it's safe. Another near growl as I thrust into her harder. If you don't want me to come inside you, P, you need to say it now. I want it, she begs. Please, please. My vision nearly blacks out, eyes rolling back as I come. My thrusts grow slower until I refuse to leave her entirely, pulling her to my body tighter, needing every piece of her skin to touch mine, like that will satisfy my need to keep her close. And then my stomach drops. Guilt rages as I place a flushed Paloma back on her feet. Did I? The words won't come, but I don't need them anyway. Everything is perfect, she says, hands cupping my face to angle it down toward hers. That was fucking incredible. She steps forward, and something leaks from between her legs, making my cock pulse. I want to ask her to open her legs for me to see between them, to see the evidence of how deeply and thoroughly I've claimed her as mine. My cheeks flush with embarrassment at my own thoughts. I shake my head as I lean down to kiss her everywhere. I love you, I whisper. You're so perfect for me. My praise continues as I wash her body, though she doesn't let me wash her hair again. That many times will ruin it, but I bask in the care of her just the same. Later that night, we order food at my insistence, though I can see both Paloma and my father give me a look like I've grown 3 heads when I ask. I shrug it off and indulge in the Thai food Paloma chose, paying special attention when she says which dish is her favorite so I can learn to cook it for her. We take it easy, watching movies in the family room. Alessia stays until it's late, and I hear my dad offer for her to stay another night, but she hugs Paloma and leaves after reassurance from my girlfriend. I excuse myself to call Reese and check on him and Sadie, though they seem more concerned about Paloma. He lets the entire thing go when I say, it's complicated. Maybe he understands because of his own situation with Sadie and her family that this story can't be mine to share. It will always be Paloma's. Your mother called again, my dad tells me in passing. I know she's tried calling you too. How do you want me to handle it? Does she know? He shakes his head. Maybe you could tell her. I think she should know. And My voice trails off. I don't think I can tell her everything without raging over Ethan again. I've avoided the monster in my mind that wants to hunt him down and kill him for what he's done. I have to trust my dad. He nods and squeezes my shoulder. I'll take care of it. Everything will be okay. I repeat it like a mantra, as if it will make the swirling, anxious thoughts that haven't quieted go away. Everything will be okay. You didn't notice 3 years ago. You didn't notice her pain once in the last 3 years. Everything will be okay. You let her down. You let her hurt, just like Reese, just like your father, just like everything will be okay. Nothing will ever be okay again. You did your routines and followed your rules, and it still wasn't enough. You're the broken one who is damaging everything and everyone in his path. Everything will... You know what you've done. You let them down. You always let them down. I don't remember how I got to bed or what I did for the hour before, but I fall asleep with Paloma curled into my side and Seven in the crook of her bent legs, his head resting up on her thigh, and the thoughts never leave me.
Chapter 75. Now, Paloma. Seven is whining. Something is wrong. Enough that I jolt awake and curse as I check the time on my phone just inches from my fingers. Shit! It's nearly 8. Bennett slept in. And is still sleeping. Seven whines and paws at him as he rests on his back, twitching every now and then, skin flushed. Things have seemed off for a month or so now, but more than usual in the last several days. At first, I'd blamed myself for disrupting his usual routines he so carefully follows. Were it only the last 2 days, I'd put it all down to a mix of guilt, anger, and stress over everything. But it wasn't. I know something is wrong. I've developed a sixth sense when it comes to Bennett Reiner. Over 3 years of desperately watching him in hidden moments and more public ones, letting the hockey team boys flirt with me if it meant I had even a second in his intoxicating presence. Bennett. I shake his shoulders until his eyes blink slowly awake. He stares at me like I'm some holy being, his hand reaching to cup my cheek.
It's a good dream,
he mutters, eyes slowly closing as he tries to trap me to his chest. No, Bennett, you've got to wake up. You overslept. His body tenses beneath me.
What?
It's 8. You've got to be on the team bus in, like, an hour? He jolts up after that, leaving his side of the bed messy. I try to ask what I can do to help, but he ignores me and murmurs under his breath as he strips naked in the light of his walk-in closet. He comes out in suit pants, a button-up, and a suit jacket, grabbing a belt off the hooks on his wall. A belt that's been wrapped around my wrists once or twice, and sliding it on as well. For a moment, it's as if I'm not in the room, like he's forgotten I'm there entirely. Bennett? He startles. Seven sits on his feet as he straightens out the collar of the navy jacket. Are you all right?
Fine.
He smiles, but it's strained and makes something in my stomach roll.
Do you mind driving me? I have a bit of a headache.
The only time I've ever driven Bennett anywhere was when he was drunk, and that's rare in itself. I can't remember the last time I drove with him in the car. Still, I nod, and he mimics the gesture, leaving the room just as abruptly, without his lucky sweatshirt. I blanch, slipping on a bra beneath the long-sleeve Berkshire shirt I slept in, grabbing the sweatshirt and taking off after him. He's already in the garage, not bothering to eat or cook. Everything is off and wrong. Bennett waits for me by the door, rubbing at the bridge of his nose, across his eyebrows, a slight grimace on his features before he notices I'm there and straightens. The drive is quiet. I play Bon Iver and Ben Howard, hoping his favorite music will lull him slightly. He keeps a hand on my thigh like an anchor. It's only then I realize I'm wearing boxers under the long-sleeve t-shirt and nothing else. It's a 30-minute drive to Waterfell, but I make it with ease. I took a few days off from school, but kept up with my assignments online. A note from Alessia, a lawyer, and my therapist had forced them all to be quite gracious with me. Bennett used his sick allowances and then skipped the classes he wasn't allowed to miss. I tried to get him to go, but he'd been antsy and shut down the conversation over and over, often suggesting a shower or rolling me into the sheets. Hey, I lean over the console and grab his jacket in my hand before he can open the door. You sure you're okay? If something is wrong,
I'm fine, P,
he says, lips tight with a smile.
I'll see you at the game.
He pops out of the car with that, and a weight settles in my chest. Something about this is wrong. Think. Bennett pauses halfway to the bus area, where most of the team is loading up their bags, turning back to me. He comes to the driver's side this time, opening the door and kissing me hard, pressing me back against the headrest until I'm almost breathless.
Love you, P.
Love you, Bennett. And then he's gone again, slinging his bag. No sweatshirt to be seen. Just before I'm going to back out, I spot Reese Koteski getting out of his fancy BMW, fixing a gray beanie over his brown locks. Before I can second-guess myself, I throw the car back into park and hop out, wearing slippers, boxers, and Bennett's shirt, and run after him. I thank my earlier self for slipping on a bra. Hey, Reese, I call. Not too loud, but enough to get his attention. His brow furrows as he heads for me.
God, Paloma, aren't you freezing?
I nod. Yeah, I'm gonna get back in the car and go get ready. I need you to keep an eye on Bennett. I don't think he's okay.
What do you mean?
Everything is off. He overslept, didn't eat, didn't want to drive here. I huff out a breath and raise the fabric in my hand. He didn't take his sweatshirt. Reese's eyes widen and he grabs it from my hands.
Got it.
There's a more tense set to his shoulders as his eyes dart toward the bus like he'll take off. I start to turn away before he grabs my shoulder carefully.
Hey, you're all right, though, yeah?
He asks. It might be strange, but there's no awkward feeling between us. No part of me feels strange around him. We've dated, kissed, I've seen him fully naked, but it just seems so unimportant and forgettable compared to my time with Bennett. And while Reese was nothing but kind to me, I'm sure he feels the same way about our time together. I've seen him around Sadie. It's like a thread loops between their fingers, tying them together. He worships the ground she walks on. He loves her, and she loves him. And Reese and I only have one shared interest now, Bennett Reiner. Reese's hand fiddles with the loose hairs sticking out of the back of his beanie.
I tried to call Bennett to make sure. Sadie's been worried sick. He didn't say much, and I want to make sure you're okay.
No, I'm not okay. But I will be. He nods with a smile, as if that answer means more than if I'd brushed it off with an I'm fine.
Great. Can you do me a favor and call Sadie?
Yes, as long as you watch out for Bennett.
Deal.
He laughs, reaching his hand out to dramatically shake mine.
Chapter 76. Now. Bennett. Breathe. 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 It's not working. Nothing is working.
I can't get a goddamn breath into my lungs, only staccato huffs that play at breath but give me no relief. Just one more time. It doesn't help. The thoughts only intensify as I take off all my pads and start to resecure them. Knee guards, left, then right. Toe ties, over and under my skate blade until the knot is secured at the edge, then the same exact pattern on my right foot. Check it again. One is off and it's going to move. It's not secure. I check again, redoing the back and forth under my blade until it's fastened. Again. I secure my leg pads, left, then right, readjusting the Velcro 3 times before my hands are willing to let it go, but I'm shaking, fingers numb as I reach for my chest pad. Sliding it over my body feels like tightening the noose around my neck. Wrong. It's wrong. Do it again. It's just my pads. I've done everything right. I've done this 1,000 times. Relax. Check it again. My stomach rolls, sweat dripping from my hair. I want to grab my phone and call my dad, or Paloma. I want Reese to walk in and see me and help. Selfish. Don't bring them down. Stay focused. Check it again. Hands shaking, I rip off the half-hanging chest pad and toss it to the floor of the unfamiliar locker room. I try to stand, like I might go for my bag, before my skates slip under my uneven weight as I trip backward, my naked back slamming hard into the unforgiving wooden lines of the cubby. Breathe. Stop doing this. Breathe. I can't. The pieces of myself I hate the most shattered, discarded across the hard carpet, unforgiving, unreflective. I'm unbound then, all the pieces of myself spilling around me, papers in a book I've ripped to shreds, memories scattered, and I still can't. Think of the water. Her voice is like silk in my ears, and I don't even think it's something she said, not a memory I can remember, but it's something, and I'll cling to it. Think of the water. Try it. Nothing helps. Not even the idea of attempting to redo my pads, like securing them around me will make me into some straw man version of myself, enough to prop up in the goal and pretend, just for a few minutes longer, just for one more game. The reminder of the game presses down on my shoulders, just adding weight to my fear and anxiety. I sink into a seated position. I'm back to square fucking one, the place I was seemingly always destined for, drowning quietly in the distance. Panicked breaths saw out of me. My chest is heaving, skin flushed. It's a full-blown panic attack, and I'm not silent anymore. There are desperate, panting, sob-like sounds bellowing from my mouth. Holy shit! I can barely look up to see who it is, just lift my chin to see Torrin Kane stepping back, fully dressed, skates and all. He pulls off his cage, tossing it down as he darts across the space to me, no hesitation, sinking to his knees. Fuck, Reiner, breathe, he begs. Are you okay if I touch you? I can just barely manage a nod. Torrin wraps his arms around my shoulders, his jersey to my naked chest, and squeezes tight. There's a strange relief to it before he pulls back and moves his hands across my arms to squeeze there, down to my hands where I've gone numb. For a moment it's like pins and needles, but it fades into something better. Warmth. Can you breathe with me? Like this? He takes in an over-exaggerated breath, and I match him, over and over, slowly, until my erratic, too quick huffs are back to normal. There you go. All good. Someone comes in, but I don't look up to see. I can't. Not yet. What? Shut up and come here, Kateski, Torrin says. No bite to his voice. He squeezes my hands again. You're his best friend. He needs you, not me. I can't speak. Throat dry. Torrin lets go of my hands and steps back, letting my best friend take his place. Reese is decked in our navy blue Waterfell classic jerseys, dark brown hair already messy from his helmet, brown eyes wide and terrified as he stares at me. Reese kneels in front of me, gaze meeting mine, soothing me with his steadying presence alone, the person I've had by my side since I can remember. "Bennett?" he asks. "Just panic attack." Reese's eyes widen, but he nods. Okay. He stands, almost stumbling over his own skates to head to his bag, rummaging around. "How do you know?" I ask Torin, a little breathless still. Torin shrugs, arms crossed. My best friend used to have them a lot. Not like panic attacks exactly, but something similar. I saw you needed help." He shrugs again, eyes darting away. "I'm gonna just, His thumb darts over his shoulder and he excuses himself. I wonder if he has any clue that we watch him go with different eyes, that this might be the moment he became part of our team completely, especially for Reese. I can see it in his gaze, flickering over where the defenseman was standing. "Here," Reese says, handing me his phone with corded headphones already plugged in. "Music helps me. Maybe it'll help you too." The words seem weighted, so I put in a headphone and press play, letting the lull of music take over in my right ear. "What's going on?" Coach Harris asks, stepping into the room. Reese stands almost protectively beside me. "Reiner, are you hurt?" "No, I shake my head. I'm not hurt, but I'm hesitant to say I'm fine either. "I just had an episode. I need a second." Harris nods, crossing his arms over his broad chest. He checks his watch before looking down the hallway toward the tunnel and gesturing. Torin reappears, Paloma and my dad both behind him. My dad rushes to me, something like fear on his face, before I wave him off and stand. "I'm fine. I can play." "Like hell you can," my dad snaps. "We're going home." It's a strange mix of relief and anger that swirls inside me, desperate to leave the arena, to close my eyes for a moment, to rest, but also desperate not to let my team down, especially Reese. He's worked his whole life for this. He hauled himself back from the dark without your help, and you would abandon him? I shake my head to clear it, only to make my headache worse, enough that I stumble to the side, just a hair. Arms wrap around my torso, Reese on my left, Paloma on my right, brown eyes looking up at me from beneath a messy pile of blonde curls. "Hey, P," I whisper. She smiles, though it's minuscule. "Hey, Bennett." My hand slides up her back and into the ends of her hair, twirling it between my fingers. "You okay?" I shake my head with a soft, sad smile of my own. Harris and my dad's voices fade into the background. Reese is an unmoving pillar of strength at my side, his arms still around me, holding me up like he has since I was a kid. Paloma nods and huddles into my body tighter. "That's okay. You don't need to be okay right now." She turns her head to kiss my sweaty chest. "I love you." I close my eyes and breathe. Chapter 77. Now, Bennett. They don't let me play. It's a collective decision, but I'm not upset about it. Maybe I should be, considering it's the final game of my final Frozen Four as the Waterfell Wolves' goalie. But I'm more than that. My team knows that, and they can do this. Besides, Connor Mercer, my tandem, is an incredible goalie. A little more confidence and he'd be far better than me. Still, I know I can trust him. I know my team trusts him. Paloma didn't offer her opinion, but I swear I could feel her relief when I succumbed to their insistence. She did, however, insist on us riding back to Beacon Hill with my dad. "I think you should tell him." she said as we stood outside the arena near my dad's SUV. Her hands adjusted my beanie again, fussing over me whether she realized it or not. About how you feel about hockey. Yeah, maybe. So now I'm sprawled in the passenger seat of my dad's black G-Wagon, headache slowly subsiding, silent as he drives. Paloma is seated in the center behind us, quiet and calm, steady. Adam Reiner wears every emotion on his sleeve. I don't know if he was always that way, or if it developed when I was younger to help me read him. For a long time, I felt safest with him because I could understand his every word and emotion. When I was little, I thought it was just a bond we shared. Now, I think maybe he made it that way. Or maybe it's a bit of both. My eyes flicker to the rearview mirror where Paloma nods and smiles at me, her hands lifting to give me 2 thumbs up in silent encouragement. She looks so relaxed and happy, a sheen of pride over her eyes as she looks at me. She doesn't look like I just finished a meltdown and bailed on my team before our biggest game of the season, which she should be there for too. Instead, Paloma looks at me the same way she did all those years ago, like something strong, solid, and impenetrable. I wonder if she knows that she's the one who helped me become strong in the first place. Still, talking to my dad like this again feels difficult, like a creaky, unused door that needs to be forced open. I cough a little and clear my throat, trying to speak through the tight feeling of it. I don't want to play hockey anymore. My dad pulls into the driveway slowly, his jaw tight, cheeks wet, I realize with a start. He's crying. He puts the car in park and wipes harshly at his eyes. No, not just crying, openly sobbing. I love you, he chokes out, turning to me over the console. His eyes are mirrors of my own, deep and fathomless blue. His hand grasps the back of my neck, pulling me in. I love you, Bennett. More than anything on this fucking earth. You are one of the only good things in my life. The only thing I've done worth shit is being your father. And I am so goddamn proud of you. And his voice shakes. And I'm so fucking sorry for all of it. I shake my head, pulling back. His hand sinks to my shoulder and squeezes like he doesn't want to break the connection. You didn't... Why are you apologizing? Because you have never loved hockey, and I knew that. You did? I ask, eyes glancing to Paloma and her gentle smile. He laughs, but it's wet and half a cough. I'm your dad, Ben. I pay attention to you, but you always wanted to play, and I was so fucking selfish to just let you do it, because it gave me something of you that was also mine, that was a piece of me and the dreams I had. And he cuts himself off and turns away, staring down at the steering wheel. And I've been a shit father. I've done something wrong or let something happen, and you've grown to resent me for it, and I keep trying to figure out what it was. And then tonight, seeing you panicked and hurting, and I did nothing, I'm so sorry, Bennett. I love you so much. Do you know that? I do, I say, because my entire system feels frozen and I can't think of anything else to say. He nods, wiping at his eyes. Good. Another shaky exhale leaves him. I don't know what I did to hurt you, but if you just tell me, I'll fix it. I can't. His voice breaks off. I can't stand being so distant from you, Ben. You're my entire world. My chest aches enough that I rub at it, feeling raw and open, but also exhausted from my earlier panic. Maybe we can go inside and talk, I say, quiet and soft. And I can make food. I'm really hungry. There's a light tilt to his lips before he nods. Paloma and Seven are upstairs in my room. I told her to shower and handed her snacks until her arms were full, leaving her with a quick kiss on the corner of her mouth. She hummed and turned on her heel, my dog only following her after nudging at my hand to check on me. It's nice to have her in my space again, especially in the house in Beacon Hill. It's nice to just be so openly in love with her again. So, at peace with the knowledge that she's here, showering in my room, relaxing in my clothes, in my bed with my dog, I start cooking. It's an uncomfortable thing to tell your own father that you're quite sure he's been in love with his best friend's wife for years, and that watching him hurt himself that way had grown from sympathy to resentment. Every thought that makes sense in my own head feels ridiculous as I try to explain it, but my dad just listens, sitting at the bar top, never interrupting, just nodding lightly. I know it takes some effort. Adam Reiner wears his heart on his sleeve, so I know he's deliberate in keeping the stoic face, the calm features. The end of my explanation coincides perfectly with plating our food. Lemon Parmesan grilled chicken, roasted potatoes, and vegetables, a side of Italian pasta salad that I made earlier in the week. I shrug, eyes darting away from his face. I didn't mean to cut you out, but I was already struggling, and seeing you with them, I don't know, it was difficult. And then my dad laughs, head tilted back before grinning at me broadly. Max would kick my ass, maybe kill me if he thought I wanted Anna for myself, Ben. He shakes his head. You have to remember, we were 20 when we met, then only a few years later Max found Anna. We were inseparable. They were mine, my family, and I love them. I always will. And sure, the three of us did some wild shit together back then. He laughs, eyes glazing with a memory. But Max and Anna are soulmates, and I love them together. If you saw me longing for something, it was affection, love, adoration. I'd never... To be honest, for a long time I just thought it wasn't for me, that I wouldn't be good enough for it. A stone lodges in my throat. But then Helen had you, my son, my own person to love and care for, and who would love me. And God, Bennett, I love you so much. His voice grows tight with strain. And that was all I needed, okay? It's not all you need, I say. You can want more. I want you to be happy. He nods. I'm working on it. His eyes glint, the mischievous, almost goofy aspect of my dad returning through the heaviness. I've always been Boston's most eligible bachelor anyways. Maybe it's time to date again. Yeah? I laugh. He nods. If Alessia lets me get within 5 feet of her ever again, I'm going for it. It's almost self-deprecating, but it's something other than tears and frustration. Sounds good. I nod, eyes ducking where my fingers draw words on the countertop. And I promise I'm not going to miss therapy again, okay? And maybe we could do our post-therapy dinners again, if you wanted to. A layer of peace rolls over his features, and he closes his eyes, Nothing I want more, Ben, he says. His hand reaches to squeeze my shoulder. Now, go feed your girlfriend and watch your friends play, Adam says, ruffling my hair before ducking out of the kitchen. I'm gonna head out. All right, I nod, plating the rest of the food on the third plate my dad had already laid out. She seems better. Paloma, I mean. He looks at me, eyes wide. I hope she knows how much she's loved by us all. My chest squeezes. Yeah, I think it'll take some time, but I shrug with a brighter, content smile. I'm willing to wait. Me too, Ben. Paloma's eyes are wide pools of brown, brow dipped in concern, where she stays comfortably seated on my bed, Seven curled up next to her, the Frozen 4 game already streaming on my laptop. She showered but redressed in my hockey sweater, which sends another wave of possessive thrill through me. Her blonde hair is damp but unbrushed. Smiling, I spot the paddle brush next to her. You don't have to. Nothing I'd rather do, P, I say, walking over and pressing a kiss to her forehead. Let me shower real quick first, okay? She nods and hums as she scoops a handful of cheese crackers into her mouth before I grab the bag and replace it with her actual meal. Eat. I'll be right back. Yes, sir, she says. It's mocking, but I can't help the easy effect it has on me, heat reddening my face and the back of my neck. I shake myself out of it and head in to shower and redress quickly so that I can spend my time brushing Paloma Blake's hair. Are you okay? She asks as I comb gently through the strands. They are drier now, the snarls and tangles a little tougher, but I take my time. I'm okay, P, I say. Did I freak you out? She huffs a breath and rolls her eyes, leaning back into my chest. I put the brush down in favor of holding her closer, my hand massaging the peachy skin of her bare thigh. God, no. You just worried me, and I didn't... Her throat works with a hard swallow. I want to be there for you. I was worried I did a bad job. A puff of laughter, and then, I'm still working on it. I kiss her just because I can. You've been more constant than you know, love. Thank you for being there tonight, supporting me with my dad. You're the only one who knew how I felt about everything, who understood me from the first day we met and never asked me to change, never wanted me to. I kiss her again along her soft cheek, turning her just slightly in my arms so I can see the devotion in her warm brown eyes that mimics mine. She's perfect, so strong and beautiful and smart, and I will happily spend the rest of my life making sure every single day that she knows she's loved and worth it all. I don't ever want to return to a time when she wasn't like this, soft in my arms, but I'd go through all the pain again if this was the outcome. You know that's how I feel about you, right? She says, her brow furrowing slightly as she peeks up at me. You loved me through everything, even when I was away or hurting or anything. I never felt alone because I knew I had you, even if I didn't allow myself to have you. My chest aches, but I nod. She raises her hand over my heart as if she knows where it's most painful for me. Reese and his panic attacks, your mother's difficulty with accepting you, your dad being lonely, none of that is on your shoulders, you know. I know. I don't, but I'm trying to remind myself. What Ethan did to me isn't something you could have stopped, now or before you knew me. She smiles despite her words. though I know that big brain and big heart in your big body have tried to come up with endless reasons you could have, somehow. I shake my head at her, but it's true. The thought spirals have been extraordinarily brutal since finding out what Ethan did to her, what I allowed to. If you blame yourself, she says quieter now, then I have no choice but to blame myself because I didn't tell you. No, P. Her harsh look shuts me up, and I nod. You can't skip out on therapy anymore, Bennett. Paloma reaches up and holds my jaw in her hand, thumb dusting across the stubble of my beard. Your beautiful big brain and heart are too important. You have to take care of them. I cover her hand with my own, rubbing gently over her skin. All right, P. I will. I love you, she breathes, and it's like she's pressing the words into the muscle of my heart. Oh, let me touch your hair, I whisper, reciting the poem I wrote for her months ago as I tangle my hand into her hair. Wrap it around my fingers, tightening the farther from my grasp you wander. Let me inside you. Paloma lets me push her into the mattress, rolling easily beneath me, the game half forgotten on the laptop as I push it away from us. I feel more than see Seven get up at the movement, opting for his real bed in the corner of my room here. I kiss her mouth, her hair, her neck, leaning into her ear once more. Let me sew my soul to yours like some great patchwork quilt across a sandless beach, I whisper, tugging at the shoulder of my hockey sweater, sinking my mouth into her shoulder. Just you and me and the water between us. Chapter 78. Now, 2 months later. Bennett. The shouts are deafening. Paloma whistles loudly enough from the second row that I blush and shake my head at her. Her eyes gleam, but she's not the only one cheering, backed up by a chorus of my team and my family. Reese and Sadie, Freddie and Roe, Holden, and even Torrin Kane alongside Coach Harris, like they came together. On Paloma's right is Lily, while on her other side are Alessia and Adam. The former cheering at a more respectful volume, while my dad shouts, hands cupped. The only other people in the scarcely populated auditorium either look annoyed or are laughing with genuine surprise at the display. It makes sense. They're treating a poetry reading like it's the Stanley Cup Finals. They're patient and slightly less enthused through the rest of the programming, but I'm thankful I went last in the reading, so my personal band of cheerleaders couldn't dull the shine of my few classmates also reading. Dr. Britton steps forward, smirking and shaking his head at me before turning to give his closing remarks. Everyone disperses. I step toward the front of the stage, maneuvering to sit on the lip while my family and friends all move forward to congratulate me. Reese and Sadie arrive first, with Freddie next to them, arm locked around Roe. "It was very beautiful," Rose says, smiling sweetly. "You read it very well." Freddie groans. He's taller than both of us, cooks, and now he writes poetry?" His head tilts to Reese's shoulder. "He must be stopped." My best friend just smiles almost blindingly as he smacks his hand on my knee. "It was awesome, Ben. Seriously." "Your dad was crying," Sadie mutters, smirking as she points with her chin to where my dad is drying his eyes and stepping forward to our circle. Behind him is Paloma Blake with a simple bouquet of white roses, peonies, and eucalyptus wrapped in newspaper. She's beautiful in a cream linen dress and denim jacket with multicolored embroidery along the pockets. All of it is thrifted, I know, because Paloma had been too excited about the find. She'd taken her roommate on her first thrifting journey, but Lily was not a fan of wearing other people's clothes. "Pretty words," she says, stepping up in between my legs, heeled brown boots clacking on the linoleum. I slide off the edge of the stage to stand in front of her, grabbing her in a tight hug, pressing a kiss to her cheek. Pretty hair, I say, tangling my hand in the strands. Are these for me? Paloma nods, pulling back and handing me the flowers. For your first performance. It's a reading. She shrugs, a glint in her chocolate eyes. It went perfect, you know. I'm really proud of you. Like champagne bubbling through me, I grow brighter. Yeah? Yeah. I tuck her back to my chest, an arm around her to keep her body close. Our friends laugh and make plans. My dad squeezes my shoulder and nods. There are still tears in his eyes, but his smile is almost blinding. It was for you, I whisper, leaning down to Paloma's ear. It always is. Her body relaxes further in my grip. I know. If I had made a wager on who would be crying today, I would not have said Sadie Brown. My dad mutters to me, stepping beside me with a short stack of boxes in his grip. I stop my own movements to look, seeing Sadie, arms crossed, eyes squeezed closed as she almost hides next to my car, like she's desperately trying to keep it together before she sees Reese. Hey, I say, stepping up beside her. I know, she snaps, but it's half-hearted. New York is only like 4 hours away, and I can take the train. And it's not that bad. I can visit whenever. I raise my hands, trying to quiet her growing volume. I wasn't going to say anything like that. She looks at me then, cat-like eyes of gray reddened and sad. I don't want him to see that I'm upset. You don't have to have it together, you know, to be with him, to deserve him. I run a hand through my hair. You know that, right? Reese was a mess when you found each other, and you fell in love with him anyway. Sadie chews on her lip, eyes darting toward the door where Reese and Max both stand. My best friend locks his eyes on Sadie immediately, like a magnet, brow furrowing as he reads the distress she's so desperately trying to hide. Besides, I drop my voice as he heads across the lawn toward us. I think crying because you're going to miss your boyfriend is very normal behavior. Hey, everyone okay? Reese eyes us both, and I smile and step away, but not before giving him a quick nod, because I am okay. Freddie steps up beside me as I head back into the house, flicking the brim of my backward hat playfully. So, I spoke to Paloma again, Freddie says, nodding lightly at me. He mostly avoids my eyes, tapping his foot a little intensely. I just wanted you to know it was good. Nice to talk about it, I guess. He didn't share the details, and neither did Paloma, but he'd asked to speak with her the other morning after family breakfast. The way Ro explained it to me, in her soft, gentle voice, Freddie and Paloma had something in common with their pasts. Something that might allow them to find comfort in each other, at least somewhat. I'd hugged Freddie when they returned to the table, which was something we'd never really done before. I'm glad you both have each other, I say. He grins, all genuine and warm. He squeezes my shoulder and asks the same question Reese asked me mere moments ago. You good, Riney? Yeah, I nod. I'm good. My therapist and I spend a lot of time talking about my thought spirals. Though they still plague me at times, they have become more manageable. I have a pathway or steps I can take to calm myself, which gives me the feeling of preparedness. Last session, however, we'd discussed the upcoming changes, my friends all graduating and moving on, while I stayed at Waterfell for an extra semester to finish after changing my major. But with Reese and Freddie both leaving, one to play for the Rangers and one for Dallas, I decided to move out too, to stay with my dad for the time being. Beacon Hill is a half-hour from campus with no traffic, but I don't mind dealing with it for the couple of months I have left. And then, who knows what's next? The thought would have filled me with pure anxiety 4 years ago. Now, I see my future, and it's bright. I just haven't figured out the specifics, and that, I'm learning, is okay. No one has to know who they are and what they want from life at 21. It's normal that I don't.
Chapter 79. Now, Paloma.
We can take it slowly, and if you want to stop, we will. You're in control, Paloma.
Dr. Sutton's voice is calm and smooth. If she'd asked me this months ago, I think I might have snapped, or never attended another session. But I feel different now. Not better, necessarily, when it comes to this topic, but at least stronger. Something about fighting back that day instilled a new mantra in my head. He can't hurt me, and I can hurt him. It might not be healthy, but it's working for now. In the past 5 months of therapy, we've talked circles around my mother, my trauma, and Ethan, but never specifics. And this time, I want to go through it all, unpack it, learn something, and feel better about it, if that's possible. Maybe the timing is everything. Ethan's trial won't be for several months, but to see the line of young girls and women that have agreed to stand beside me and give their testimony has given me something I didn't expect. Hope. The sense of not being alone. For a long time, I blamed my younger self for being foolish and idealistic, for getting herself into that entire mess, for degrading herself and stooping so low, as if that would earn some kind of affection. I blamed myself for believing I'd asked for something I knew I never did. It's a process, to come to terms with it all, to love and care for myself again. But I'm working on it.
Are you ready?
Dr. Sutton asks. I nod. Bennett is sitting in the car, idling on the street outside when I finish. There's an overly sugary coffee in the cup holder, a pillow in my seat, and 7 in the back, the same way he always prepares to pick me up from therapy. Sometimes Alessia does it, and we do a hair and nail day afterward, if I'm not exhausted. But on the days where it feels heaviest, I like when Bennett is there. My warm comfort, my steady shore.
Hey, P,
he says, leaning over the console to kiss me. His hand pets along my hairline, tucking strands behind my ear as he examines my face closer.
All right?
7 sets his snout on my shoulder, nudging my cheek, and I give him a kiss. I smile. I'm good. Today was good. I reach for my coffee and take a long, soothing sip. Hot, even on a warm spring day. I think I want to go swimming today, actually. Bennett's ocean blue eyes glimmer.
Yeah? I'll drop 7 off and we can go.
He slips his sunglasses back on and maneuvers us onto the road, turning up the music and rolling down the windows so I can bask in the sun a bit more. Bennett swims with me now, though I could lap him easily with my speed compared to his bulk. He finds it therapeutic in some ways too, but he enjoys swimming in the ocean more. Instead of our usual lap pool, we go to the outdoor area. It's moderately filled with other students enjoying the last few days before graduation, suntanning and splashing one another. Bennett and I sink into the water at the deep end, his feet easily touching while I swim circles around him, caressing him freely, splashing him every now and then until his curls are damp and tamed.
Are you excited for tonight?
He asks, catching me around the waist to hold me up. Tonight is the sleepover. Hosted by Rose Sheriff and entirely her idea. She invited Sadie, me, and Lily to the half-cleared-out hockey house, while the guys spend the evening playing video games with Oliver and Liam at the Koteskis. I nod. It's Lily's first ever slumber party. Mine too.
I know.
Bennett nods, curling a finger in my wet lock of hair.
It's going to be amazing. Just don't do anything insane.
My lips quirk. But I already ordered a male stripper. He dunks me under the water, hoisting me back up as I sputter and laugh, shaking my hair out like a dog against him. Ha ha, very funny. He leans down and kisses me on the mouth, stealing my breath and any other jokes I planned to make.
Can I wash your hair before you go?
Cheeks flushed, I readily agree, before climbing out of the pool and tugging him behind me. I'm always borderline desperate in my want of him, especially now, skin dripping, hair wet, eyes sparkling in the sun. The thing between us, the string that's tied us together, pulls tight. Years of pain, heartache, and frustration. I wouldn't do it that way again. But if it meant this at the end, him happy and smiling and relaxed, then maybe it was worth it. Bennett bites my shoulder playfully as he passes me, but the words he often whispers beneath the sheets as we grasp each other linger in the air as if he said them aloud.
Bite down on my shoulder again and let me show you.
A poet in his own right, and he treats my one attempt at writing like a gospel.
It's my favorite,
he says before reciting my own words that I barely remember back to me. Slip me into your brain, I think, looking at him as we walk back to the car. Keep me forever. Epilogue. 10 years later. Paloma. Nice shot, Gabby! Gabrielle Huston smiles, front teeth missing as she trips forward on her skates toward me. She's 7 and the best one on the team, popular with the other girls and always smiling. Thanks, Coach P! I tap her helmet as she zooms over to the bench for water. Coach P. I grin, still a little overwhelmed by exactly how much I love my job coaching the local girls' club hockey team. I started it myself with the help of Adam Reiner and the First Line Foundation, Max Koteski's skating charity. I've been the head coach for 2 years now, after training under one appointed to start the team. I love these girls. I love this game. I'm happy. Huddle up, I call, before handing my clipboard to one of my teenage assistant coaches, letting her take the lead today since I'm no longer allowed to skate. Doctor's orders. And if she hadn't ordered it, I'm sure my beautiful, intense husband, currently seated on the steel bleachers, would have. Bennett doesn't like to be far away from me, pregnant or not. However, now he's got an assistant worrier. Annie, 2 perfect braids down her back beneath a beanie, sits in the stands right next to her dad. She'd been nervous about me leaving today, mostly due to how much time we spend together regularly, but sticking close to Bennett seems to have relaxed her somewhat. She's always been like that with her dad, finding him the soothing presence he's always been for me.
Hey,
A deep, low voice speaks.
shh, you're okay.
Hiding around the corner, I peek carefully into the living room, still half asleep. A baby cries, but the previous wailing fades off into little chuffs and sniffles as she settles against the mass of her father's warm chest. Because she knows she's safe in Bennett's arms, just like I've always been. He recites Mary Oliver's The Summer Day quietly, voice low as she slowly falls back asleep. He's read the same poem to her since before she left my belly. This is their morning routine, though it's the middle of the night now. Unusual, because Annie is good at sleeping through the night. My sleepy girl. I'm usually always awake before her. In the mornings, Bennett wakes up first. He makes the coffee and then leaves a poem for me on the fridge with our word magnets. Sometimes it's romantic and beautiful. Sometimes it's witty and clever. Sometimes I write one back. He wants me to read it when I'm alone, always blushing as he walks into the kitchen to see me standing in front of the fridge and gazing at his words. I like to be awake to see him leave for his job as a professor of poetry and literature, mostly because he's dressed near to pornographic. Brown pressed trousers, collared shirt, and tweed jacket. One day, he'd worn a sweater vest over his button-down, and I'd tackled him in the kitchen, making him take me as the sun rose over the oakwood table, his hands in my hair. It might have been the day he got me pregnant, but who knows? At night, he's always softer. We shower together, so often that he's had a bigger one made during the remodel. But now, when he washes my hair, I can feel his wedding band snag on my curls because he refuses to take it off. Every tug from it is a comfort.
Hey, P.
He breathes, quiet as I settle onto the couch next to him. I tuck in close, temple pressed to his shoulder as I look down at our daughter. She's really perfect, huh? Bennett nods with a glimmering smile.
She looks just like you.
He's said it before. A phrase that haunted me as a kid into adulthood now feels warm and soothing. I'd talked with my therapist about it the first time he innocently muttered it, and I'd locked myself in the bathroom to cry. Now I let it fill me with pride to chase away any lingering fears. But I do worry about being a good mom. We hadn't intended to get pregnant. I wasn't sure I wanted children. So it had been a decision I needed to make faster than I planned. Bennett had supported me no matter my choice. Now, with the moonlight streaming in through the massive floor-to-ceiling windows of Speyside, the sound of the water outside, I couldn't be more grateful for the life I've managed to achieve, the family that I have. It's the same now as I rest my hand on my low stomach where I've just started to show deep gratefulness for this family we've created. I'm on the bench, not even in skates. Still, my two little warriors watch over me. Something warm that lives permanently in my chest with the two of them around me flares brightly, illuminated by their care. A life and love I've fought for. I graduated with flying colors. I testified against Ethan and helped to lengthen his sentence by appearing to read my victim impact statement alongside the other girls he'd hurt. And then I continued to take the power of my life back. I'd gotten offers for 4 different internships, but stayed relatively local for my first year, so I could spend time in the Reiner house with Bennett and Adam. And Alessia, who I'd seen next to Adam more often than not. She'd blushed when I first asked her about it, but I knew she had her own issues, things that made her the way that she was. I also knew Adam was one of the most patient men in existence, second only to his son. They'd been on their own timeline, but she's living with him now, slowly healing each day. I'd worked for 2 ECHL teams as the first woman assistant coach for both before I started working for all women's hockey teams. Then youth, where I really felt passionate. And now, in our small, cold coastal town, I've found my place. I let my assistant coach know I'm headed out for the day, calling toward the girls to rest up for their games this weekend, before heading through the tunnel exit where I know my husband and daughter will meet me. Annie runs right for me, grasping me in her little arms, while Bennett stands behind her in a beautiful blue pea coat and fancy slacks, a pleased smile across his bearded face. He gets more handsome with every year together.
Ready to go home, loves?
I grin, and so does Annie. And for a moment, I can see it touch the light in Bennett's eyes, our faces side by side. My little mini-me I love more than life itself. Ready, we say in unison, stepping closer so he can cover us both in his arms. Every breath, every moment. He's been here through every moment. And he'll never leave me. The shore to my rolling, calmed tide.
Bennett. Daddy. I'm working a little later than usual tonight, which means I didn't get to shower with or bathe my wife, which means my mood is irritated at best. But the sound of our daughter's little voice is enough to make my frustrations completely disappear. My face breaks into a gentle smile, and I turn, spotting Annie with a messy blonde braid that tells me she just woke up. She sleeps like her mom, rough, tossing around, but deep. In her hands, I spot a familiar stuffed rabbit. Seven slowly trails behind her, the gray around his ears and muzzle growing by the day. Just like me, my loyal dog always sticks close to my girls. "Hey, Seashell," I say, opening my arms for her to come to me. She climbs up onto my lap. I reach around her and scratch Seven's ears as he sits by my thigh. "Did you have a nightmare?" "No." She rubs her eyes again. "Mommy's sick again." My stomach hollows a little, and I have to clamp down on the anxiety. Paloma being pregnant is a lot for me, mostly because it plays with every single one of my emotions. Joy at having another child with her, but also fear at knowing exactly how many things can go wrong. Her pregnancy with Annie was smooth sailing, but she was pregnant at the same time as Sadie, who had one of the hardest pregnancies I've seen. I was worried Reese would chain himself to her arm and quit hockey after that, or never have sex with her for fear of ever getting her pregnant again. I'd reminded him that a vasectomy was much easier. "Okay, Seashell, why don't I get you back in bed and I'll take care of Mommy." I stand, hoisting her easily into one arm. "Did you two fall asleep in Mommy and Daddy's room?" She nods and yawns again. We made a fort." I grin, shaking my head as I carry my daughter to her bright pink princess room, tucking her in, though she's already half asleep, eyes closed. After shutting the door carefully, I head to the master bedroom, nearly tripping over the remnants of said fort. Paloma Blake is an incredible mother, and a far better parent than I am, though she'll never admit it. She'd been terrified when we decided to have Annie. We'd fought endlessly, angry and tired and constantly frustrated. Her, because motherhood terrified her, convinced she'd somehow ruin our baby, even with her want of a child. For me, the frustration was that she couldn't see herself properly. But healing is never linear, and that's okay. My love for her will never falter, never cage. It can only grow. I'd started attending therapy sessions with Paloma so I could figure out how to help her through her fear of motherhood. Mostly we'd worked through it, but even now, Paloma doesn't understand the way Annie looks at her with stars in her eyes. Ask my daughter her favorite person, princess, or magical creature. "My mom," will be her answer for them all. Seven stands in front of the bathroom, pacing anxiously, moving quicker than he usually does these days. He whines a bit and pushes his nose against the door. "I know, bud," I whisper, petting his head. "P?" I call, knocking lightly on the door before letting myself into our large bathroom. She's sitting by the toilet, back against the wall, face damp as she looks up at me. "Hey." "Damn it, love," I mutter, running a cloth under the water with shaking hands. I bring the cool, damp towel to her, resting it beneath the tangled mess of her hair. "I told you to call me if you felt sick." "It came on real fast," she mutters. "Do you think Speyside is too isolated?" I step over to the shower, turning it to a bearable warmth for her. "What?" "Speyside.
Do you think it's too isolated for Annie and Benjamin? I shake my head, cheeks coloring as she calls our baby that again. We'll call him Ben after you, she'd told me weeks ago when we'd first discovered we were pregnant again. We'd been trying this time. I told you we don't even know if it's a boy. I can feel it, she mumbles, letting me pull her to standing and slowly undress her. But that wasn't my question. What do you mean, isolated? For Annie and Ben to grow up here? My brow furrows. Sadie and Reese bought the house next door, though it's miles away because of the secluded nature of the area. They'll be here for the summers and off-season. Paloma nods but puts her hands on my biceps before I can usher her into the shower. I know, but... She trails off and pauses. What is it, love? I ask, cupping her face in my palms. Tell me what's really going on. I don't want Annie to feel alone. I don't want them to not have friends. Stomach caving, I pull her naked body fully into mine, kissing her temple, her hair, anything I can touch. My beautiful wife, my soulmate. Never, P. I promise. Besides, Annie starts school soon, yeah? So we can figure it out. If it's too small here, we can always move, right? And we'll always keep the beach house? This house is where I fell in love with Paloma Blake fully, over and over. It was her safe haven and mine. We spent birthdays here. I lost my virginity to the girl I love here. Pieces of our souls are scattered across every inch of this house. You were meant to be near the water. I breathe, pressing a kiss to her neck as I dip my head down. We'll always have this place, and we'll always have each other. Take me wave by wave, I whisper, watching as she steps into the water like the ocean coming alive. Curl your currents into my body. Love me, love me, love me. I always knew it would be this way. The love of my goddamn life. The constant shore to her tumbling, lovely, alive, and vibrant sea.
Unbound, a novel, Book 3 of The Undone, was written by Peyton Corin and read by Meg Sylvan and Stephen Dexter, with a note read by the author. Editing and post-production by Chrissy Farrell. This has been a presentation of Simon & Schuster Audio. Unbound, a novel, is available in print from Atria. Also available from Simon & Schuster Audio, Unloved, a novel, Book 2 of The Undone, by Peyton Corin, read by Caitlin Elizabeth and Bradley Ford.